Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
Good morning.
And Nick is here.
We're back.
And
He's
Bruce
back.
is here.
Yes, I am. I am here.
And Steve is here.
You just sat
There
here,
he is.
yes.
Oh, yes. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is being brought to you by that vidblasterguide.com, Tom Sinclair, and by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals.
And we use it too.
And we use it too, yeah.
I'm a professional.
Okay.
That was good, Mike. Okay.
Yeah, I spent some time this morning playing with, we don't want to get all on this topic, but spent some time this morning playing with vMix.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it seems fairly logical to me. It's really funky the way it handles audio. I don't get it yet, but once somebody explains it to me, it'll probably be simple.
I guess it's just me. I guess
It probably is.
I'm stupid. I'm
Well,
stupid.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying it.
This will
Sorry,
be on your
you're
Mac. will it?
safe.
Say again, Steve.
That's on your Mac, is it?
Mac. I don't have a Mac.
I thought you had a Mac Air Pro thing,
I
job.
gave it away.
I don't blame you. Because I'm looking at vMix and it's saying for Mac.
No. Maybe you're looking at the one. I don't. Wait. Is
I
it?
think they
I'm
have it
actually
for both.
looking at
Well,
the wrong thing.
the capture is they have capture for Mac and PC. I don't think they have software for the PC, but I could be wrong.
You mean
Uh-oh.
software for the Mac?
Whatever.
What happened there?
Mix PC.
What do you mean? What happened?
Why did I lose both of you guys as far as video?
I guess there's something on your end.
Do you have Skype
There's
Premium,
Nick.
Amnon?
Nick
No,
just Nick,
Mike, turn your video back on. It turned off.
Nick just came back, and Mike just came back. Okay.
I didn't
Are
touch a thing.
Yeah. Are you sure you're still paying for Skype Premium?
As far as I know.
Okay, because if that's why it may have kicked us off.
Microsoft is having its Sunday morning blues.
You know what? That's interesting. I don't guess I'm hosting this call. I think my subscription for premium runs out today.
Ah. Well, I think now we get a warning.
Better
when we
let
come.
me know.
I've not received any warnings. I'm glad you mentioned that because I want to check to see because I have multiple subscriptions. I want to see which one's running out today. I set a note that something's running out today. And it says here, your subscription expires in 9 days. Okay, so I set it early, so I'm good.
See, I don't get those. I mean, I got one about a month ago that the credit card was going to expire, and I renewed it. And
Well, I didn't get a notice yet. I just clicked on the account information in Skype, and this is what it brought up.
Wait, where did you go? Skype?
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look. If you go click on Skype and then account, it tells you.
Yeah, fortunately, you only have to have one person with Skype Premium for all the videos to work. I actually canceled my Skype Premium now with the advent of Hangouts and Zoom, which I pay for, Zoom Pro, and even the HTML5 options like Appear.in. I just don't feel like I need Skype Premium anymore.
Well, that's a good point. One of the reasons I keep it is because if you keep several subscriptions, the other subscriptions are cheaper, like the dial-in number, which I have.
Right.
I use that.
It doesn't say anything about how, I mean, when does it expire? It just says that it's premium. All right, never mind.
Maybe there has to be a period of time during which...
Yeah, sorry.
This doesn't make any sense. I got to study this a little bit because the way they do these things is you buy a subscription and put it in the Skype bank, and then it pulls out of that bank. And it doesn't make a lot of sense the way they do it. So I ended up with 2 subscriptions at one point. They had to refund one of them or some nonsense because they changed something in the middle of it. Maybe I'll just wait for them to expire and then add it, and that way I'll know what I have.
Hey, Amnon?
Yes, sir.
Which one of your CDNs shows the previous shows?
Only Bamboozer will show last week's, but that's it. None.
Because Merle was just watching last week's show.
How?
You must have been on Bamboozer.
Well, Merle, did you click on Bamboozer down at the bottom?
He did.
I did. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Bamboozer will not switch. If you leave it alone, everything will be fine. Because at this point, really, I don't see much difference in the quality between...
Well, then I would take Bamboozer off the list because people
in Europe are better off with Bamboozer, though.
So people in Europe can't watch Justin TV, Vaughn, or Daily Motion?
But the Justin, they probably can watch Vaughn, but Justin... and Daily Motion are through the other Wirecast streamer, and you remember how it is kind of fuzzy a little bit?
Yeah, that's unfortunate that people could possibly be watching last week's show and have no clue that we're actually live.
I mean, well, if you see, but if somebody like Merle, who knows what he's doing, went and clicked specifically on Bamboozer, that would happen. But everybody else just leaves it alone because everything, they never click on anything until the show starts.
Wouldn't they see the red live?
Well, you don't need to see the red live anymore because
they click here to watch live. Yeah.
No, by default right now it's Vaughn, and that's why I made Vaughn the default, because it comes up faster when we start streaming, and because it's not Bamboozer. There is no way for me to turn off that last week playing of the last week's show. I might put Bamboozer at the very end, though.
Well, but people are still going to click on it.
Yeah, maybe I'll add something right there. It says, do not click on Bamboozer before show start. That's all right. Okay. We're just chugging along.
I really don't understand Skype's setup here. I think I have to let everything expire and then set it all up because
You're supposed to be able to check on my account over there.
Oh, I'm looking at my account settings.
And it'll show
they don't make a lot of sense.
Unless the subscriptions are from 2 different accounts, it should show you everything right there.
But see, here's the thing. They started out with this unlimited U.S. and Canada and all sorts of crap, and then you add this and add that, and then I did a 3-month when I first started it. Then I converted over to annual and all that. And you have to let something expire, and it runs until... Anyway, what I'm looking at here is it says that the first thing it says here is Skype Premium is active.
Yeah.
Skype Premium. Then below that it says with calls to unlimited U.S. and Canada. And then it says you've canceled your unlimited U.S. and Canada subscription. You can continue to make calls until it expires on April 15th. Now, over on the right-hand side where it has my payment information, my last payment was on April 9th, 2013. My next payment is due April 6th, 2014. But yet I've canceled it. Well, if I canceled it, how's the next payment due? And if I can go until April 15th, why is the payment due on April 6th? Or are these two different subscriptions? I don't know.
I know. I went through a lot of intimidations when I was trying to renew the credit card. It's not that straightforward.
Well, the credit card on file is current, so that's not a problem. I just don't want them. I don't want double subscriptions is all I'm trying to guard against. I know that I don't have them now, but I don't want to click renew, activate, and then end up with dual subscriptions. I think if I will just let this time out, I believe it'll say, okay, you can't, yours has expired, then I can go into reactivate, pick the year, and be done with it.
Yeah, you can try. And by the way, they do take PayPal now.
No, I don't care. I put it on card for that
It's
purpose.
nice to have it on PayPal so everything comes together, and I don't know. Just a thought.
Yep. I'm going to do some looking around on this, see if I can figure out their nonsense.
I was kind of hoping Steve would start singing, "Come Together Right Now Over PayPal."
Oh, we're going to get a takedown notice.
Fortunately, my voice is not good enough.
Hey.
All right, let's see. They were. Listen to this fact here. Amazing, it says. By the end of this year, there will be more mobile connected devices than people on Earth. And they say that always remember one thing. According to PC World, nothing you do on Wi-Fi is private. Anyone else using the same password on the Wi-Fi network can see your communications. So if you're in a restaurant and there is a password that they give you to get on the Wi-Fi, apparently everybody else can see what you're doing. Another tip that PC Worlds offer is to use HTTPS for checking your email with Wi-Fi.
Wait, I'm sorry. What is the story here?
It's the fact that it says, according to PC World, nothing you do on Wi-Fi is private. Anyone else using the same password on the Wi-Fi network can see your communications.
It's the same thing with a laptop, though. I mean,
well, yeah. If you're on
if you go to a hotel and you're
right
browsing the internet, people could grab files off your computer.
See,
if you're sharing them.
people don't think about this when they're they figure, I'm fine. So they say use HTTPS when checking your mail with Wi-Fi. And they said Gmail does that automatically now on all accounts. If you still are using Yahoo or AOL, you may want to set up a Gmail account just for Wi-Fi purpose if you are a heavy user of it. Another great tidbit is if you are paying for Wi-Fi use, it does not make it any safer. It just means you are paying for the service. Talented hackers can even modify their wireless card to clone the identity of your wireless card, thus obtaining free access through a commercial hotspot by piggybacking on your signals. So just remember one thing. Wi-Fi is not private, and it's not as safe as you may think. And using HTTPS is, if you have you first try to run it as a HTTPS if it doesn't say so on the address bar. If you're on AOL or whatever, and try and put HTTPS : blah blah blah. If it comes up, then set yourself a new shortcut with HTTPS.
I did read this week, I don't know which site it was from, but Yahoo, across its services, has switched over to HTTPS now.
Yeah, no, it's about time.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Now, don't surf with HTTPS because it'll make things slower. I mean, a little slower, but every little bit helps when you're on.
Yeah, but not every website supports HTTPS. So
Yeah, that's correct. That's what I'm saying. Try it. If it comes up, it's okay. Otherwise, it's going to come up and tell you that it's not supported, it's not available, or it's going to just revert back to HTTP. Just look up in the address bar and see if it says HTTPS at that.
But is this really a big deal, Amnon?
The thing is, people just need to know. As far as big deal, I don't know that if you're in a hotel or in a restaurant that somebody's actually looking at what you're doing.
That was the point.
Correct.
That's
I
exactly
agree.
what I was
I
gonna
agree.
say.
But people need to know it. So if somebody, I mean, if Mike is in a restaurant doing work and he's an attorney and he's not computer savvy and he's not internet savvy and he doesn't know about this and he's dealing with sensitive stuff, thinking that everything is okay, he needs to know that. I mean, you leave it up to him to make the final decision, but that's what we're here for, to educate people, let them know, okay, there is a situation that could be.
Unfortunately, people are not
I agree.
the smartest when it comes to internet.
Right.
So, unfortunately, that's
Until they are, the hackers are having a feast.
Yep.
At some places. I mean, some of those hackers may do it just for the fun of it. You know, hey, look, we can do it. You see that guy sitting over there? Let me show you what he's doing. But they may stumble on something. You know, you may be sitting there talking, emailing, or doing something with your mistress.
Did you see that story about a guy in Detroit who wanted to get $80 out of an ATM and it started spitting out money? It spit out $37,000. I'm wondering if this is an XP exploit, but there was a girl behind him who finally called 911 because this guy was taking so long at the ATM, and the police got there and found the guy stuffing all this cash into a grocery bag.
We've already had an advisory over here in the UK because I think there's something like 90% of the banks are all running their ATMs on XP still.
Same thing here.
So it's going to be
fun.
Major problem, I think.
So what would you do if
I would be a perfectly honest person and just hope that the bank has a reward scheme.
There you go.
This is one thing that, Mike, you sent me an email this week about what do we recommend now that Security Essentials is going to stop for XP, and XP in 2 days is history as far as Microsoft. Let's see.
Don't you think that they might just relent and on the last day just say, oh, all right, we'll give you another year then?
Well,
I hope not. I really hope they don't.
Let's see. First of all, who just called in?
This is Gene.
Hey, Gene, how are you? How are you? As far as
I was wondering how many other XP users got that message this week that said MSE is not going to be upgraded anymore. So
well, that's not
fully protected for any virus and
okay.
malware.
Here goes. First of all, where was the story? You are going to be able to get updates for it until what did I say? June something? I can't remember. I don't know where the story is, but if it's already installed, then it will keep on getting updates for a few more months. Until July 14th. It will update. But if you ask me what you should do if you're going to keep on using XP or you have to keep on using XP, then go with Avast, the free version. I mean, the only reason I'm saying the free version is so it doesn't cost you. It is very nice. I use it. It's feature rich. It works great, and as far as I know, it continues to support.
Very good. I was wondering. I was wondering about AVG.
Hey, I know.
What do you think?
You
Mentioned
mentioned
advanced over AVG or what?
you mentioned AVG. AVG is so bloated at this point. There were a lot of situations where machines were getting really slow, and we didn't know why. And it turned out that it's something to do with AVG. So uninstalling AVG and reinstalling it corrected the problem. That means there is a problem somewhere in AVG. So we stopped recommending AVG a long time ago. Avast is very fast. It's low on resources, and even though the program is getting bigger, it's still fast. And so far, I didn't have to reinstall it to solve a problem. Although I did try on machines that slowed down. I said, well, maybe it's the problem with Avast, and I would reinstall, but that did not fix the problem. So that's what I would recommend. Mike?
Okay, thank you. That's what I was wondering. I put AVG on my wife's XP machine, but I think she's already complained about it, so I'm going to take it off and put Avast on.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Gene. Bye.
Now, regarding the XP issue, there are some computers that will not run Windows 7, and the fact that they're
Right.
older is irrelevant if people want to continue to use them.
What?
I mean, we need there will be people that will continue running XP on certain machines, me being one of those, and I want to be secured as much as possible. So until the upgrade to probably Windows 7, and I know, Mike, you were saying that Windows 8 is going, the new is going to bring up back the start button, and I was even reading here that it's going to mimic combine Windows 7 start menu with a handful of Metro style tiles. If it's going to take me into tiles, I really don't want it. I don't want tiles.
You can turn that off.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Right now, I don't know how to turn it off. Every machine
You can do that in Windows 8. Whenever we run Rick's, he has a Windows 8 computer that he uses for Rick's house.
So what does he get on his desktop at that point?
Just it's icons like a Windows 7 desktop.
Okay, see, that's how much I know about Windows 8.
But no start button.
I didn't know.
And that's a pain.
Well, the start button you can bring with an added-on app.
Correct.
But Shell 8 will do that.
Shell,
I think.
yeah.
It's,
The what?
isn't it called like Shell 8 or something like that?
Well, there is Classic Shell, there's
Classic
Start
Shell, yeah.
8. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, really, a lot of them. Classic Shell seems to be doing a good job. It allows you to make it look like Windows 7 or even Windows XP, I think.
And Vista.
Oh, that's
If you
right. It's
wanted to,
Vista.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Vista. So it's a nice program, and it's free. And if you want to pay for it, I think it's $5. But it works really nice, and it has a lot of other features to it. But we'll see what that new Windows the upgrade is going to be like. It's going to be interesting. The story says that Microsoft at the Microsoft Build conference today, the company announced that the Start menu will officially be returning to Windows 8.1. I thought 8.1 was already out there, but they still call it Windows 8.1. It will combine the Windows 7 Start menu with a handful of Metro-style tiles. They're also making it so Windows 8 apps can run in Windows using the normal desktop environment.
Yeah, rather than being full screen all the time and not being able to minimize them. That's a brilliant idea.
In addition to the desktop announcements, Microsoft also talked about big changes for Windows on mobile devices and Internet of Things devices. The company will be giving Windows away for free to OEMs making phones and tablets, 9-inch screens and smaller, and for IoT devices. What is IoT? LOT or IoT? LOT. Anybody knows what it is? LOT? That can run it. Microsoft also finally unveiled Cortana, the digital assistant software that's similar to Siri. So that's pretty good.
Quickly though, going back to this,
Yeah.
People need to upgrade from XP.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
And that's like I've been reading forums and stuff, and everybody's freaking out about the XP thing. Like Merle said in the chat, you've had over a year to upgrade, and I'm sorry, but if you're not willing to upgrade, and what's going to happen when there's a major problem and your computer gets compromised? And I think people are just saying, oh well, I can just install some antivirus. And that's going to solve the problem.
Antivirus
people aren't being told to upgrade. They're being told to just stick with it, and that's not the right thing to do.
The problem why a lot of people, and me included, are not upgrading is because it's not quote unquote upgrade. It's
it's hard to do. You have to spend time doing it.
You have to completely reformat, install Windows 8, and then start installing all your software.
Yeah, but I mean, what does that take? A day or two?
It depends how much you have on your machine. It
but
depends.
it takes a day or two for you to have your...
Up till Windows 7, I think... Well, no, actually, you could not... There was no path from XP to Vista, was there? I think you had to do the same thing with Vista.
There was XP to Vista.
Okay, but there's no XP to Windows 7.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Right. It's... For some reason, I don't know why, and I'm still holding off, hoping that Microsoft is going to come up with some type of an application that will take it and actually upgrade in the old-fashioned way.
I doubt it.
I know. I
don't know why. There's
optimistic.
No reason for them to spend time on it.
Well, it's different circumstances are different. You know, people are going to do different things under different circumstances. But I agree.
Understand that.
I agree with you 100%. People should upgrade. I should upgrade. I should go with Windows. I don't know that I'll go Windows 8. I'll probably go to Windows 7. But
go Windows 7 for sure.
Well, you know, we'll see what happens.
I just think people are going to end up getting caught off guard, and there's going to be a major vulnerability in Windows, and everybody running Windows XP is going to be screwed.
That is kind of scary. I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's why people say, "Oh, I'll just run antivirus."
No,
you're fooling yourself.
Yep.
Because something's it's bound to happen. These attackers are now specifically going to go after XP.
Right.
Because there's no support for it.
Yep.
And I mean, XP apps, you can run any XP app on Windows 7. I'm almost certain of it because of compatibility mode. So the excuse list is not as high as it once was.
The other thing to do is run it in a virtual environment if you need.
Yeah,
XP,
that too. Right. You
to,
could boot up VirtualBox and just there's definitely ways to work around it.
The only disadvantage and problem you have if you've got an old device that you need a device driver for that was never written for Vista or above, then you're stuck if you've got a specific piece for your business.
Maybe it's time to upgrade. I mean,
we're not disagreeing with you, Nick, and the point you're making is absolutely right. But there's bound to be the odd few people that are in a sort of specific category that they're stuffed unless they do, and they're torn between the two. Obviously, they need to. Yeah. They've got no option. They have to bite the bullet and do it.
There's still people out there running Windows 2000 because the software that they bought that cost a fortune back then is not compatible with anything newer than Windows 2000.
Yeah.
But
Windows X.
Go ahead.
No, Windows XP apps running compatibility mode on Windows 7. There's a little, like if I click on... Say, I'm going to click on Thunderbird right now.
Yeah.
If I go to, give me a second here, Properties, and then Compatibility, I can click a box that says Run this program in compatibility mode. I have the option to run it in Windows XP, Service Pack 2, 3, Windows 2000, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows NT, Vista Service Pack 1, 2, and then Windows 7. So you can run basically any program that runs on Windows in Windows 7 through compatibility mode.
It depends whether you've got the drivers for the associated stuff. That is one big thing.
But if it's just like a regular piece of software, you're probably
no problem
fine.
then.
Yeah, and
can I make a point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a good place to say, and I'm not going to say what percentage, but there's a large percentage of PC users for whom this would be unnecessary if they were using something as simple as a Chromebook or a Chromebox.
For sure.
You get the newest update automatically every time you shut down a reboot. It happens transparently in the background. But, for those of us who are running programs, especially some legacy programs, we need some backwards compatibility and so forth.
Yeah. For example, I'm going over to my grandparents' house today, and they've got a Windows XP machine, and I'm going to probably take everything off of it and tell them to go buy a new computer.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Best Buy, as of April the 6th, which I think it was yesterday, they'll give you $100 on an XP machine.
Oh, cool.
Toward the purchase of any other computer. Yeah. So if you got an old XP laptop, doesn't matter how old it is, if it boots up, it's running XP, $100. No questions.
Could be a good thing. I think for the people that have been hanging on, thinking, well, I don't need it to upgrade. It's still working. It's still going fine. When eventually it does terminate, and I do have to do something, I think a lot of people will probably just go for a pad.
Yeah, well, listen, you take that old XP machine down there to Best Buy today, and for another $99, you get the machine that I'm running on right now, which is an Acer C720 Chromebook with a Haswell processor in it, 12 hours of battery life. I'm running Skype off of a Linux site on it. $99 plus an old XP machine. Good deal.
Well.
There's a lot of people. Bruce is making the point that there's a lot of people that bought desktop computers that are running Windows XP that use it to go on Facebook, and they don't. Yeah,
then there's no. Then at that point, there's nothing. Nothing should stop these people from upgrading. Absolutely.
Well, these people don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
These people have no clue that Windows is. They wouldn't even know if Microsoft said we're not supporting Windows. They would have no clue what that means.
Yeah. And fortunately, if that's all they're doing, then if they did get compromised, it's not going to do much damage.
True, but if you have other devices on the network, it could.
Yes, absolutely. Especially also if you are on a network at home, and Mom has a machine running XP, but Dad has one that he's using for business. That's where the problems. Yeah.
Merle's got it the right way in chat. There you go.
But I mean, I don't know. Whenever I'm thinking, okay, let's sit down and do it. I need to have a plan and say, okay, here, we start with this and we do this and we do that and we
see. The problem is with people in your case, Amnon, that are using it for business and stuff.
Yeah.
God forbid it was to get compromised. Then what do you? Then you're really screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's the thing we were mentioning earlier. Look at the fact that you've got so many of these ATM machines, banks and high-end government departments who are still on XP. You would have thought, what on earth is going to happen? I'm expecting the UK to just grind to a halt because somebody infects it.
And they're not even thinking now about fixing it because, but they are going to get updates from Microsoft for another year. They have to sign agreements with Microsoft to get updates to their quote-unquote embedded or whatever you want to call it XP, so it will not be vulnerable. But you and me don't have that opportunity.
We don't have thousands and thousands of ATM machines, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It would be nice if I had, just one would be nice. If they just kept coming around and filling it up all the time, it'd be brilliant.
Tim is saying something nice. It's sad that XP is getting killed. I think Vista should be killed first. That's a good point.
The comment that I was going to make, and I haven't reviewed this carefully, but I know that it has to be true. People will say that that Windows 7 will run any program that XP will run. That's not true, because as it turns out, and someone can explain this better than I can, it turns out that XP actually has a DOS emulation mode. There are some programs that ran under Windows 98 that would run under XP that will not run under Windows 7, even under the XP emulation mode, because it does not have a DOS emulation mode. And even if you don't think that's a good idea to do that, I have a friend who has a program that costs $5,000 that does exactly what he wants to do. He's not going to throw out his XP machine just so he can have Windows 8.
So it's what was the program for? It's for Windows 98?
It was originally written for Windows 98, but it ran fine under Windows 2000 when he upgraded. It ran fine under Windows XP. Now, he tried it under Windows 7. It will not work.
I'm wondering, I'd be interested in if you tried it under Windows 7 in Windows 98 mode.
I don't know, but if there's some mode that I don't know about, I'll be happy to pass that along to you.
I mean, the compatibility to do anything from 95 to 7 with multiple service packs. So I'd be interested in seeing how that works.
As would I, and be glad for him to do, because he's perfectly willing to upgrade. He's not like Amnon. I mean, he's willing to jump onto it, to Windows 7, not Windows 8.
Do you know how the program is started? Is it started in batch mode, or is it an exe file?
I don't know what it is. I'm not sure.
If
and the other option,
it could be starting from an MS-DOS prompt, which you could just bring up a command prompt and start that and see if it'll run in there.
He's pretty technical, and he's not an expert in Windows 7 and forward, but he's very technical, and he spent quite a bit of time trying to get it to work. But whether there's the Windows 98 emulation mode, I didn't even know it had one of those. How do you get to that?
You just right-click on Properties on any program and go to the Compatibility tab. You'll see it on any program.
I'm looking
at the other thing,
the exe
like
file
Steve,
itself.
Yeah, like Steve brought up, even if it doesn't run, he could still upgrade to 7 and then run VirtualBox, whatever OS he needed to run, which is a perfectly fine solution because it really can't get compromised.
Well, also understand, and again, this is a very technically sophisticated program for its day. There was something he tried that wouldn't work because of a fob or some sort of, it had to reach through the hardware to get something. I forget exactly what it was. But
obviously there's cases where,
A lot of this hardware stuff, you have to have a dongle and a serial port in order for it to run properly. And if it isn't a standard serial port, then it won't work.
Right. So, I mean, I'm going to make sure he's tested that. I'm pretty sure that he has. But you know what?
Hard-pressed to find a serial port on most of the modern computers anyway.
Yeah. I don't recall if it's a serial dongle or what, but I'll pass that along to him.
Yeah, programs that have dongles are going to be a lot harder to run even in compatibility mode, because they do all kind of things to protect that dongle, so you cannot get into it. Anything that looks just a little foreign,
iffy.
Yeah, they won't go through. But and the problem is that the manufacturers say, okay, you want the software for Windows 8, then you're going to have to pay another $6,000.
Well, and they have the right to.
Yes, they have the right to, but really, they should let people upgrade, and that's it. But on the other side,
but if you bought that software 10 years ago, they don't owe you anything.
Wait until you grow up a little bit and pay $15,000-$30,000 for a piece of software.
I understand that, Eminem. But after 10 years, I don't think the company owes you a free upgrade. I mean, where's the point where
there are a lot of these expensive programs that were never really updated for anything over Windows 2000 or Windows XP, because the company does not want to write it from scratch again, because they
people
know
won't pay for it.
They know that people are not going to buy it, right? So what they're doing is they keep on updating that software for their customers, and then this comes along, and it's not like they are giving you something else. They're giving you just a dongle software. So I would think it can go both ways, because at this point they can say, well, then that means you're going to be able to run it on two machines just by moving it, and I don't know. Thing is, we can talk about it until the cows come home, and the bottom line is, Nick's first comment that everybody should upgrade is correct. Everybody should.
Yeah, and obviously there are cases when you can't, but for most people they can. It's in a very rare situation that somebody can't.
Well, I already have my billing and everything on a different machine to do since I only use that program once a month to do the billing for the ISP, it's no big deal.
I'd be interested in if you threw that on a Windows 7 machine and tried running it in compatibility, seeing how it acted. That would be an interesting test.
It works okay on a Windows 7.
Oh, okay.
No, it works. Yeah, it. All I had to do was find a file, and somebody gave me that something to do with Java.
Oh, okay.
That works. So
great.
it's I tried it and it works. So I said, okay, I'm going to put it on this machine, and once a month I'll connect it to the internet, do the billing, and then I don't use it anyway, so it's fine. That's what I was mostly concerned about, because of obviously credit cards inside that program.
Yeah.
And I'll probably start migrating slowly to that machine. But it'll take a long time, I can tell you that.
It's a laborious task that nobody looks forward to. I really distress the thought of having to start from scratch and then putting all your little utilities and getting everything set just as you want it. Especially if you've been with that same machine and exactly as it's been for years, say 5 years, let alone 10 years.
Right.
I would want to pull my hair out, except I can't because I've just shaved my head this weekend.
Yeah,
I like upgrading.
Oh, I don't. It's a horrible task.
It's so nice to have a clean OS. All of the garbage that I've installed that was left behind is gone, and it's great.
What it would be like to be young again.
I know.
Like a power wash.
Yeah.
Love the power wash.
I suppose the only other way to do it is to install it all into a virtual machine that you can get it exactly as you want it, then save that virtual machine when you've got it just right.
Yeah,
and then just keep using the virtual machine and don't let it update itself with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But even doing that is still going to take too darn long.
Yeah, and again, it also depends where, if you work all day and you come home and you don't want to see computers anymore and you just use it for, to suddenly take hours and hours and upgrade, it's not as easy as somebody who doesn't have many programs on it and has the time and on a weekend can take. I mean, if let's say the machine here that we're using for doing the show, if that was running on XP, I mean, it'll take me an hour to upgrade, to completely reformat, install the programs that I need, and be back in business with Windows 7. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem at all.
Amnon, how long do you think it would take me to upgrade my machine?
You don't have much on it.
That's not true at all. This is the only computer I have.
Well, I don't know.
I run every piece of software I have on this computer.
Okay, so how long do you think it'll take you?
I could get it done in a day because I would put my mind to it and get it done. I mean, it doesn't take 15 days to install software.
But I cannot do it in one day. I don't have one day that I can put my mind to it and say, okay, that's what I'm going to do, because there's too many interruptions. way too many interruptions, whether it be
All right,
business, family.
then maybe over a weekend,
you
maybe
know.
like a Saturday, Sunday.
Not even that. I mean,
How many programs do you have?
let's put it this way. Yesterday I was looking on the XP, and I went and I was looking. I just installed the new Malwarebytes. So it always installs it at the very bottom if you go to all programs in XP. So I clicked the down arrow, and it went and 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 went, and it's just scrolling. And finally it got to the bottom, and I said, gosh, there are too many programs on this machine. And I'm thinking, boy, if I'm going to upgrade this, it's going to take forever. But then you stop and think and say, well, there may be some things here that I'm not going to install again. Because I use them, I do use them every now and then. They're not important, they're duplicates, whatever. So it will be nice to finally end up with a machine that is, okay, that's current. Now you have everything new and some upgrade. But it's going to take weeks, if not months.
Amnon, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You just did.
Good. May I ask you another, please?
Yes, sir.
You just did.
I know. It's a continuing, ongoing thing for the rest of his entire life now.
But what you should say is, can you ask two more questions?
What I should say is, can I ask more questions?
Will you
of
allow Steve
Yeah.
to...
Go ahead.
Yeah, just shut up and let me ask the darn question, for
There
goodness
you
sake.
go.
Sorry.
No, you're all right, actually, because what you said is right. And it usually makes me laugh when you do it. But when you did it to me, then it's like, I should have thought of that. Anyway, I'm going to ask that question now, or another one at least. What I did with my machine, and I'm asking the question of you, if you put another hard drive in,
Yeah.
and then do your Windows 7 basic install, take it out. And then when you feel like doing a bit more, put the Windows drive back in, boot off of that, then do some of the updates, take it out.
I don't have to do that, Steve. I can make it a lot easier. I'm putting another machine next to it, and I have a KVM, and I can just switch to that machine.
Oh, that's even easier then. Just do it in like 10-minute chunks.
Right. Well, that's the thing is to do it like this, and it's gonna take a long time. So I started with my billing program, and now I can continue on.
Amnon, I think if you actually put your mind to it, you could have it done much quicker.
Maybe we'll find out. We will find out. I mean, I really want to go up. And again, I'm not going to Windows 8. Now I may wait. I mean, Mike is so adamant about the way that he's.
Yeah, but you could
talking.
upgrade from 7 to 8. That's an easy upgrade if you want to. But I would at least get to 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. 7.
Because if you don't like 8, it's probably a lot harder to downgrade than it is to upgrade.
Well, if Mike is saying that Windows 8 now, the new one is. Mike, have you seen this? Have you read enough?
No, don't hang that monkey on my back. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Okay, so never mind. That's
I've got
good enough.
8.1 on the laptop, and it's running very well. I have put on, I can't think which one it is. It's one of the free Start 8 type things that make it look like 7, which does improve it dramatically. But apparently that's what this new 8.1 is going to do predominantly anyway.
No.
But yeah, I'm getting more used to 8 now. I still get annoyed at the charms keep coming down every time you happen to get near a corner, but because it's not a touch machine. Had it been a touch machine, I'd be perfectly happy with the charms bar doing that. But when you're with a mouse that's a little bit erratic anyway on the Lenovo, then it's just an infuriating nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like me, really. An infuriating nuisance.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with me on that.
Mike, are you keeping up with the chat?
Off and on.
Okay. Let's see what else. Do you remember something, Steve, last week toward the end? You were talking about copying DVDs and stuff.
Yes.
Were you saying that you are not allowed or that you are allowed?
Now, as far as the law is concerned now, it is illegal to circumvent any DRM restrictions. I don't call them rights, DRM.
Is that what you were talking about last week?
Yes.
Okay, so never mind that story.
But we still haven't heard any more about it this week because it's only been put before both houses of Parliament. So as far as we know, they're still discussing it. So it's proposed that if it's going to pass, it will come through on June the 1st. but I haven't heard anything about it this week. So for all I know, maybe they've rejected it.
I don't know. It says UK government will finally legalize the copying of data from CDs, DVDs, and other types of media for personal use. This will allow UK citizens to legally make backups and digital copies of their media, which has been forbidden by copyright law previously. The changes will go into effect this June. It also grants permission for people to upload the ripped media to a remote host, though sharing, of course, remains illegal. The mismatch between the law and public opinion became apparent through a government-commissioned survey which found that 85% of consumers already thought that DVD and CD ripping was legal. More than one-third of all consumers admitted that they already made copies of media they purchased. Besides the new private copying rights, the upcoming amendments will also broaden people's fair use rights. For example, people will no longer have to ask permission to quote from or parody the work of others, such as a news report or a book, as long as it is fair dealing and the source is recognized.
It's good that they've actually stipulated fair use, because it's always been an assumed thing, and sort of there's never anything been sort of written in stone, as it were. It's always been, as far as we're concerned, yeah, that's okay, and we believe that to be all right. But for it actually to be defined and written like that is brilliant, because it actually gives, as you say, parody and people that are using it for educational purposes an opening to say, well, I know I'm not going to be sued now.
So you're saying that up till now, you bought Windows 8, you had no permission, even though Microsoft allows you to make a backup of the thing, you could not copy it?
As far as the law is concerned, it was illegal, because it's got, you just weren't allowed to make a copy. I think the law's written that you can't circumvent, you can't circumvent an effective protection mechanism.
But if there is none and they allow you to copy, you could copy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're copying, like you said, a Windows XP or Windows 8 disk, and it was yours, and you were just using it as a backup, then fine, because it doesn't have digital protection on it.
Okay.
But if it's a DVD of a movie which has DRM,
right,
then no, because you have to circumvent that.
Yeah.
I've got a massive argument. If ever I came into, had to go to court over this, I've got a huge argument I haven't actually released or said anything about yet, but I just want to see the lawyer's face on the other side if ever I got in that position again. I'm saving it up just in case.
Well, you know who's checking for DRM now?
Any division of the entertainment industry.
This weekend, a small corner of the internet exploded with concerns that Dropbox was going too far, actually scanning users' private and directly peer-shared files for potential copyright issues. What's actually going on is a little more complicated than that, but shows that sharing a file on Dropbox isn't always the same as sharing that file directly from your hard drive over something like email or instant messenger. The whole kerfuffle started yesterday evening when one Daryl Whitlow tweeted a picture of an error he received when trying to share a link to a Dropbox file with a friend via IM. The Dropbox webpage warned him and his friend that certain files in this folder can't be shared due to takedown requests in accordance with the DMCA. So it looks like Dropbox is doing the same thing that YouTube is doing now. And a lot of things on YouTube are actually falsely being flagged. And I go through this. That. I go through this every week when I upload shows to YouTube. and they say, "Oh, this is copyrighted," and you know that it's not because you downloaded this from, and you have to do it every week, and every week I have to dispute it and send them the links to the site where it was downloaded from, and the link to the license agreement between me and that site. And a couple of days later, say, okay, the copyright holder released or something like that. I mean, I don't read. I just know they say it's okay. Well, you know.
Why don't they put it on a whitelist to say that we've had this one 3 times now?
It's ridiculous.
Insane, isn't it?
I don't think they have the ability to do whitelisting, but...
Well, probably because there's no human involved. It's all done by machine.
Take it out of your database.
Yeah.
It is not copyrighted.
Or put an entry in the database with a tick in it to say this one's okay.
Yeah. So... Now, I know many of you don't live here in the Triangle or North Carolina, so it may not mean much to you, but Wake Forest here in North Carolina is the first city to go fiber in the Triangle using RST fiber. RST is a communication company in, I would say, a small town. I mean, Shelby. How big is Shelby, Mike?
Micro.
Yeah. And apparently Shelby had 1 gigabit internet now for over 2 years.
Well, a lot of times, though, these things are rolled out in small towns for that very reason, so that they can learn how to operate the system and learn what the challenges are before they roll it out in a large environment. For example, the little toilet town that I'm from is from Laurinburg, North Carolina. It's on the North Carolina-South Carolina line. We were the first city in the United States to have touch-tone telephones. And they rolled it out there for 2 reasons. One is it was the next central office that was scheduled for an update of the telephone switch. And being a small town, they could make sure that everything was working at a small scale before they unrolled it in a place like New York.
Well,
and sometimes the local powers that be will do what they ought to do and actually I know it sounds like a fiction, but actually represent the interests of its people and go for the best solution.
If you drive on Jones Franklin Road, if somebody drove on it last week or so, you'll see on the side of the road there is a lot of construction. Well, a lot. Enough to bother the traffic, where they are burying yellow conduit. And Kathy was saying, what is this? And I said, that must be some fiber going in here. I don't know whose it is. It's name that I don't recognize on those trucks. But who knows? I mean, it's all along Jones Franklin Road.
That's near Amnon's house, in case you guys are wondering why he's bringing it up. So what he's doing is he is bragging here that he's going to get,
I don't know,
1 gigabit before I do.
I mean, remember one thing.
Burn his house down.
What we read is that RST Fiber is going to bring fiber, but it's not going to be fiber to the home. It's going to be fiber that the last mile is going to be wireless. That's how their model is working.
Well, if you think that's bad, it's going to be interesting to see whether this Wake Forest rollout is going to include Vance's house, because Vance may be right on the edge of that connectivity. And I mean, if it turns out that they get within a mile of his house, he'll probably buy that company and force them to put it out there where he is.
But we'll have to. At least you see movement. Something is happening, and RST did say that that was like 2 weeks ago. They're saying 60 days they're going to be in Raleigh, in the Triangle. So it looks like Wake Forest is going to be the first city.
Nick, you were asking me recently about fiber for your area. What have you learned about the availability of fiber? How close is it to you?
A lot of my friends have fiber. Let's see. So I'm about 20 minutes from downtown Albany, and I'm in mostly suburbs. There's not really any like major stores or roads like close to 5 or 10 minutes away. So because of that, I'm in a Time Warner Cable only area. But I have friends that live closer to like one of the main roads here is like Route 9. It's, goes from like, from like Albany all the way upstate. I have friends that live near that, and they have BIOS because it's on a major road and they pulled it there. But from what I know, there probably is fiber laid. It's just dead.
Yeah. So the question, I guess, is when or will you be able to order it?
Never. It's FiOS. They don't give a shit. They're not going to roll anything out. They have no. They're not going to expand. They have no reason to. I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's things will have to change. As
they don't have to.
As more cities get faster, and other cities see how much of an impact it has on their economy, they will have to do something.
But if you look, like for example, the housing development I live in, my parents had the house built and it's 15 years old.
Yeah.
So everything's underground.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder for a company to run the stuff underground than it is for them to put it up on a pole.
Well,
so I think that's another thing that
here's
a factor.
Well, this is how this RST fiber is getting.
Yeah, it's wireless.
Yeah, well, it's wireless to the homes, wireless, but they bring it up
from a fiber.
to different to. It's sort of like a cell tower. They bring it to a tower, and then from there on, it's so they don't have to go to every home, and they can go to a home that was built 200 years ago.
Yeah.
And if that works, then I'll bet you a lot of other cities are going to go and say, hey, can you guys come and do it over here? And they probably will.
Yeah, well, the only problem I see with wireless is that people could be malicious with it.
Well,
that's what's going to stop somebody from jamming the whole thing?
Yeah, true.
I definitely would not want wireless for sure. I would like
At this point, you take whatever they give you.
Well, you know what, though, Amnon? There's a lot more issues with Ben Wireless than there is with coax coming into the house. I mean, what's going to happen when you're having like a really, really bad thunderstorm? I mean, wireless signal is dramatically affected during that. With wireless and lightning do not mix.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to
There's a whole load of issues.
We'll have to wait and see. But if they had it today, I would switch right now.
Oh, no, and of course, if they had it here, I'd probably switch as well. But you just have to look at how, how reliable is the service really going to be?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you still want to make sure that everything is reliable. Absolutely.
And speaking of reliability, Nick does report that replacing his Ubi DDW3611 modem with a Motorola Surfboard modem has dramatically improved his connectivity.
Yeah, anybody I'm not sure what Verizon or what any other ISP does for their modems, but if you've got the stock modem and you're paying for it every month, get rid of that thing because it's probably causing your issues. I just put a link in chat. Let's see here.
Did you ever find out what your streaming issue was yesterday?
No, it was a Time Warner problem. I'm 100% positive.
Is it resolved?
No, I haven't looked yet. I'll look right now. But I have bought the Motorola Surfboard SB6141. It's about $90. But for me, I believe the modem, the UB was $6 or $7 or $8 a month. So this thing pays for itself pretty quick, and so much better than the UB. Now, the one thing, this is not a wireless access point. So if you're using your UB modem as an access point, you're going to have to buy a router as well. This does not do any routing.
This is just the modem.
Just the modem. Yeah.
But most people had wireless routers before they had the higher service anyway. You can go back to that.
For sure.
And having said that, stay the heck away from Netgear.
That a lot of people have been saying that.
Oh.
I've been very happy with Linksys Cisco.
Well, that's good to know, but I was a JB number 5 ESS. That ESS sounds exactly right. That's what it sounds right to me. So, but again, you guys obviously know much more about that than I do. Anyway, the problem with Netgear, and I've been a Netgear diehard, but the problem with Netgear is that they come with some of them come with a quote unquote lifetime warranty. So if you have a problem with your modem or router, and you want to contact Netgear during the warranty period to find out if it's defective, you have to go through this troubleshooting procedure, and they charge you $40 for the session.
Nice.
In warranty.
So
you return it.
It's basically a new modem or new router for $40.
Yeah, why waste your time?
Yeah.
And you get aggravated because they can't speak to you, and you don't understand them, and they don't understand you, and they go through all the steps that really, I mean, there's more to it than just paying the $40.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work, then what do they do? Send you a new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, then send
a new reconditioned one.
Yeah. No, I gotta say, I switched to an older Linksys, that black one. Nick, the one that. I can't remember the number of it, but it's an old one. It's a few years old, and all the problems with the Time Warner that I had before and locally went away. It seems like.
Yeah. So, Mike, now that streaming issue is still in there.
Okay. Well, let's also say that if you hear what we're saying, and you decide to buy a new modem, don't get the 6121. Get the 6141 because, as I understand it, you guys correct me here, but the 6141 bonds 8 channels or 6, and the 6121 bonds half of that.
Yeah, it's newer, so more updated.
Even though both will work with Time Warner.
When I went to get it from Best Buy, I think it was last summer, the guy there knew right away. Said, "What speed do you have?" And I said, "I have the 30x5. He said, "You want this one because it's the higher speed. If you had the slower, then you can buy this one." I don't know if it was the 21 or whatever, but
no, it was a 41. Well, the 41's the one. 40 is the one you got.
I got the 41.
You did get a 41 because mine's a 40.
Okay, now you got me thinking. Hold.
Well, that's good, Amnon. That won't hurt.
Yeah, and so if you do buy one of these and you have Time Warner cable, what I would recommend doing is unhooking your old modem, calling them, let them tell you when to plug it in and hook it all up. Then you'll read off the is it the MAC address? I think it's the MAC address you read off.
Yep.
And then you'll tell them, all right, I'm going to return my old one. They'll tell you where the closest store is or whatever. You just bring it in. They'll give you a receipt, and then they'll take the $6 or $8 or whatever it is off of your bill each month.
Maybe you have to A, make sure you get a receipt, and B, make sure they take it off your bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a 6141.
That's good. You got the newer one. I got the older one, which, from what I can tell, is working fine.
Yeah. Here's something else. Telecom giants AT&T and Verizon Communications are lobbying states one by one to hang up the plain old telephone system what the industry now calls POTS, the copper-wired landline phone system whose reliability and reach made the U.S. a communications powerhouse for more than 100 years. Is landline obsolete and should be immune from grandparents-era social protection? The article continues. Last week, Michigan joined more than 30 other states that have passed or are considering laws that restrict state government oversight and eliminate carrier of last resort mandates, effectively ending the universal service guarantee that gives every U.S. resident access to local exchange wireline telephone service, the POTS. There are no federal regulations guaranteeing internet access. In Mantalocking, New Jersey, Verizon wants to replace the landline system, which Hurricane Sandy wiped out, with its wireless voice link. That would make it the first entire town to go landline-less, a move that isn't sitting well with all residents. Aren't we paying like a good chunk of the phone bill is going to that universal service something? It seems like when you think about it, there's
universal access.
Yeah.
Well, it's just all it is a tax, and they'll just change the name of it.
But if they do it, I wonder if those places that they're going to go wireless will take it off the bill.
That was funny. Emma.
Yeah, I know.
That was good. I enjoyed hearing that.
Taking off. Right.
Yeah.
They're just going to rename it to something else, right?
Yeah, like a wireless access.
Yeah, right.
Because, I mean, after all, look how much money they had to put in the infrastructure.
Right.
Oh, well, the monthly phone bill pays that. No, but.
But. Yeah, who's but?
Yeah.
Nobody's seen Spence yet in the...
He's still out chasing a moose. So why is Skype SMS messaging 11 cents per message?
I don't know, and who's using it?
Who would use it? It would be convenient to have that built into Skype so that when I'm logged into Skype, which I am quite often, that it would be convenient to be able to send and receive SMS messaging through my Skype account. But at 11 cents a message, I'm not even interested in it for an emergency.
Maybe they have to pay a bunch to the carriers. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because my VoIP provider, voipo.com, is now offering free SMS to your VoIP line.
To any VoIP or to another VoIPO?
Well, you have to be their customer.
Yeah.
And the line has to be within a certain exchange, not all exchanges. We're talking central office equipment in chat with Alan and JB, and they know infinitely more about it than I do. I'm going on 50-year-old memories. But what happened is my number, when I put in my VoIPO number 3, 4, 5 years ago, whenever it was, I picked a number in RTP because at that time there were certain regions that you could dial the number for toll free. There was the number that I was selecting could not be dialed in Raleigh. The number was available, was still a regional long distance call, whatever that was called, from Durham, where one of my best friends lives. So I picked a number at RTP. It's the 439 exchange. He could dial it for free. So that solved that problem. Well, that's all that's gone away now. And I asked them, it turns out I have a pretty good relationship with these guys because I was one of their pioneer customers. I was actually one of their test customers and was actually dealing with the owner of the company as a test account. So they've grandfathered me in on their plan that I really was going to cancel it a couple of years ago, but the price is so low for me that I kept it, and I'm glad I did because now I use it a lot. But having said that, when I was talking to support earlier because I had a problem with something and I was talking with them, and I was asking about SMS. He said, well, it has to be enabled on your account because it's beta. Well, I said, well, how do we enable it on my account? He looked at mine. He said, well, I'll send an email over to support and they'll enable it because you're one of our original customers and I'm sure they'll be glad to do that for you. I said, okay. And about 4 or 5 hours later, I got a response to the support ticket that said, sorry, your exchange does not support SMS. Maybe at some point in the future we will, but it's not available now. My response to him was, I don't care about the number. If you want to change numbers so that you can add it, that's fine with me. I don't give out that telephone number to anyone for incoming. I use it for outgoing only. And he contacted me back and said, we can do that if you want to do it and change the number. But I haven't responded to that yet. I don't know that I really care, but it's interesting to know that technology is there. The benefit of having it, the bad part about having it is you have to log into their web interface to send an SMS. The good part about it is that an incoming SMS can be forwarded to an email account, meaning that family member, you can have them send an SMS to that telephone number through their phone. It will come in as an email if for some reason that's a beneficial way to work on things. For example, when we're doing Rick's show, sometimes I'll send him an SMS to let him know about a caller or something that's changed in the natural flow. I have to pick up my cell phone, reach over here and sit here, which I hate using the darn thing anyway, but send a message on that. It'd be nice if while I'm sitting here working everything else, I could just click on something and send him an SMS. Having done that and said that, until last week, I don't know if you guys know it, but until last week, it was possible to send an SMS message through Gmail chat, right, from within Gmail. That has now been eliminated. To send and receive SMS with Google, you have to go through a Google Voice account, which is an additional screen you have to open, which means you also have to click on certain things and it does not automatically update. It's just not as user-friendly as it was, and that's probably on purpose.
Hey, so if you're running Android, which I know you're not, Mike.
I'm not.
But if you're running Android, there's a great app. It's called Mighty Text. I'll put a link in chat to it. It's an app. You install it on your phone, and then you install the add-on for Chrome, and you get and can send all of your text messages through like a little Chrome pop-up. Obviously, your phone needs to be on,
right?
But I can see all my conversations. I use that all the time now. I don't even text when I'm home. If I'm sitting up here, I type it, which is cool.
Mighty Mouse. Oh, Mighty Text, I mean.
Mighty Text. Yeah, Bruce I think Bruce told us about that some time ago.
And he's the one that got me using it.
And I like the idea of it. I really like that. But I use, unfortunately, an Apple product, and so it doesn't work.
Maybe your next phone's an Android phone.
I don't want another phone. I always want this one to fail and then be done with it.
Get some Nokia phone.
I want to go back to BlackBerry.
There you go. The BlackBerry they're still doing stuff, aren't they?
I don't know.
Steve, you still here?
Scrabbling for the unmute button, yes.
I was just wondering if you have anything to say. I don't want to...
No, it's I've been trying to catch up on something, some of the what do you call them, RSS feeds and things, and trying to sort out my email account, which for some reason I can't get into. I think I've been hacked. Or my email has anyway. Dope.
I don't remember that story, and I'm wondering if this is just part of
Roku.
it. Roku what?
Roku. My wife, for some reason, has gotten into NHL recently. I don't understand it, and it's not for me to ask why, but she has. And what she was doing once, she started watching, for some reason, the New York Rangers, which again, I don't understand any of that. But having said that, that's what she wanted to watch, and that's fine. And so what she was doing was watching it. She has a pretty decent laptop computer. She was watching, I think it's either an i3 or an i5, I forget which, but she was watching the NHL.com paid service, out of market games, whatever, on her computer. But then she was having to switch between screens to follow something else. I don't know what it was I don't know if it was chatter or results. I don't know. But anyway, she was switching between things. I said, well, why don't you just take your computer, stream it through HDMI over the big big TV in the great room where she watches it. So we took this very long HDMI cable that Amnon gave me, hooked it up to the TV, plugged it into the computer, worked great. Now I had a second computer, a second laptop we keep in the great room for looking up things. She grabbed that one and used it to do whatever this other surfing that she does during the game. She was sitting there watching the game on the TV and doing surfing on this second computer. I was playing around with my Roku 2 or something, playing with the account, and I saw this NHL channel on the Roku. I said, oh, wait a minute. I know what I'm going to do here. I went over to Best Buy and bought a Roku 3, hooked it up downstairs. I think we had to add the NHL channel. I'm not sure. We put it on the big TV. She logged in, put in her credentials, brought up the NHL channel on the Roku on the TV. And where she sits, the infrared remote controls don't work very well because she's at a little bit of an angle. And, of course, the Roku remote control is Bluetooth. You can hold that sucker underneath the pillow and it works. And bottom line is she now watches the NHL games on the HD TV through the Roku. And I was telling Nick earlier, it's true 1080p, and the quality is excellent. It is probably the best picture that I have seen on that TV, that 42-inch TV. I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of it. And now she has her regular computer back in her lap looking at whatever this other stuff is she looks at during the game. And it's, I mean, she's not exactly a technology maven, but she adapted, took to this Roku setup, switching the input channels and all that. She took to it immediately. It's a good solution.
The Roku is amazing.
Well, the main thing, though, that is what I can tell, Nick. You can tell me what I'm saying here. But I believe that the Roku, whatever the processor in it is optimized for video delivery. Yes. The quality of the video, 1080p video through the Roku 3, is better than the quality of the 1080p video through the computer and the HDMI port.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Roku's got it hammered down. They know exactly what they're doing, and they've optimized their device. The Roku's not a powerful device. It's got, I don't even think it has more than 512 megs of RAM. It is not a, power device, but whatever they're doing with processing, I mean, they're doing it right because everything looks absolutely amazing on the Roku. And it's dirt cheap, too.
$99.
$100.
Yeah.
Let's see, who just called in?
Larry. This is Gene again, Abnon.
And wait a second, Gene. Who else?
Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, I was going to let the other guy go first.
Well, I mean, you called first, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, no. I was just going to say, how do you get the spell checker to work in Outlook Express?
I think it'll work automatically.
Well, the one on my wife's little netbook, it was working, but then it stopped working. So I didn't know if it was.
I don't know that there was anything that needed to be done. You may want to go into the tools and options.
Spelling tab.
Yeah, spelling.
And make sure everything's checked.
All right. I'll try that. And I was going to make a comment that I'm ready to go to Windows 8. All I need is for Nick to buy me a new screen reader, and it's only about $1,000. If he'll buy that, I'll go to Windows 8.
Can he just give you his credit card number and let you order it, Larry?
There you go. That'll work.
All right. I'll give him your email address. He'll send it to you. Keep checking after the show.
All right. Just kidding,
I'm
Nick.
very wealthy.
All right, Larry.
Okay, thanks.
Take care, man.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
What's up, Gene?
Well, before we get to Gene,
Oh.
Larry, again, makes a good point, because not only is Larry's blind, if you don't know, has to use a screen reader. And not only is his screen reader software tied to XP, it's tied to XP Home. He can't even upgrade to XP Pro.
Nice.
So that's how hard tied in it is. Now, could someone work on the compatibility mode and make it work? Possibly, but yeah. I mean, I don't have time to do it, and Larry doesn't have the I don't think the stuff he would need to make sure that works. So what he's got works, and just stick with it.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So what's up, Gene?
Yeah, okay. It's time to compliment Delta Force, I guess, today, because there's a contact I have that I get emails from multiple times a week. And they come right through your quarantine, and they get right to me okay. And suddenly one came in, and it went into junk mail. And I went into junk mail to see why this email from her went to junk mail, and I see it says, "Hello, I sent you a very important doc via Goggle Docs. I would like to know if you love them. Kindly log in to view the item." So obviously I didn't do that. Click here, so I didn't do that. And I got a hold of her, and she said that unfortunately somebody hacked into her Google account, and this stuff has gone to many of the people in her address book. And I just thought it was very interesting that Delta Force email service kind of chucked that into junk mail, even though it comes from somebody that sends me stuff all the time. And I don't know how you did it, but it worked great.
That'll happen automatically on Gmail if several people from various different email providers mark something as spam, then they'll just assume that it is.
I don't know, Gene.
Well, whatever you did, whatever your system did, it did a good job on this one, because I just thought it was very unusual as why all of a sudden an email from her showed up in my junk mail when it never has before. And lo and behold, it was a spam item or something you don't want to mess with.
All the spam filters, and we use multiple ones on Delta Force. Not all of them. A few of them are actually AI, so to speak. They learn from what you're doing. So they may be seeing something and throwing it into spam. There's no whitelist that says, okay, if it's from Gene and it goes to June, then everything is okay. No.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether maybe it was the title "Hello" that the filter picked up. I don't know. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it did it, and I thought that was very interesting. It basically put me on alert when I went there and I started to read it. And obviously, I'm not going to click because she doesn't send stuff like that.
Right. Good.
Okay, just want to let you know.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care. 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. If you have any comments, any questions, and if you're listening to us on TalkShoe, you can ask. If you are on Blog Talk Radio and you're listening to us, feel free to ask questions, and you can always join us if you have the horsepower at computers2know.com. Just click on the watch live and you'll be able to watch and join the chat and talk to everybody.
A horsepower.
Well, a lot of people on these systems have very, very slow machines because they don't need much. It's through the phone.
Using XP.
Yeah, probably.
Using XP, using DOS 6.1. You know.
Is Skype compatible with DOS 6.1? Can you confirm that, Amnon?
I doubt it. Hey, Steve.
Hello. Just got back.
What is the oldest operating system that you ran to with users of TalkShoe in your days?
XP, I think, would be the oldest one. I don't recall anyone on 98.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's good.
There's several on Mac, but none of the TalkShoe team had a Mac, so it was like, I don't know, we're just guessing. But XP I think was the oldest. I don't recall anyone with 98. I would have given them a slap if we had come across one.
There you go.
Now listen to this.
Yes.
Recode reports that Yahoo will soon be stepping into the realm of internet video. They're seeking to take advantage of complaints from users who make videos for YouTube that they don't make enough money for their efforts. Yahoo has told content producers it can get them a bigger slice of the pie. For now, at least, Yahoo isn't talking about replicating YouTube's open platform, which lets user upload 100 hours of content every minute to the site. Instead, it is interested in cherry-picking particularly popular, more professional YouTube fare. Yahoo has also told some video owners that it can use its well-trafficked homepage and other high-profile real estate to promote their clips on a non-exclusive basis. After a year, one source inside Yahoo says it might open the platform up further. So there may be competition to YouTube coming up in a way.
Actually, I would think the competition would be more towards something like Dailymotion, because that's kind of the realm Dailymotion's in right now, is the cherry picking more professional content.
Are they?
I mean, I don't just see like people uploading, videos of cats on Dailymotion. I don't see that on Dailymotion. I see like Time Magazine is uploading stuff, Engadget.
But is this because they are cherry picking, or is it because people don't know about it?
Well, people know about Dailymotion, but Dailymotion isn't. YouTube basically says upload anything you want here. Dailymotion is going more towards professional content. I mean, CNET is uploading stuff here. Tech Buffalo, UR. I mean, it's more. It's not cell phone video. It's well-produced stuff that's normally on here.
So we should feel honored.
No, not at all.
We're
it's
not
just
worthy.
That's the market they're going for. They're going for professional stuff, unlike YouTube, who just says, "Oh, hey, upload whatever," which is fine. I mean, CNET is using this as their main CDN now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, glad you mentioned CNET.
Yes.
Their website where you go to download freeware.
Download.com.
No, I don't know what it is. It may be cnet.download.com,
Yeah.
but I went to CNET to download a free utility last week, and it has that conduit search crap built into it.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez.
Well, you must have. There's a way you can uncheck it.
Oh,
when
I
it's
did.
installing.
I did, but how many people don't pay attention to that?
True.
Yep.
Download.com is bad.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they would be my last choice to download anything. Anybody who puts that crap in there, if they want to put it in there where you have to click it to add it, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But when it's automatically checked for people who who don't. You can say, yeah, well, they ought to read it. Well, yeah, and the government ought to give a rat's behind about people, but that ain't gonna happen. So the reality is, it ought to be opt-in, not opt-out.
In my view, nothing ever should be automatically opt-in. It should always be opted out, and you have to physically click to say, yes, I want into this, please.
I totally agree, and so therefore I think they should be avoided like the plague.
Yep, it puts you off, doesn't it? To cover myself, actually, Mike, I have several questions. Would that be okay?
No.
All right.
Go ahead.
I just got back into my email account and I noticed you did a Hangouts yesterday for to discuss Mix Minus or any other audio questions you may have. Come on in.
I did.
Darn it! It's 10 to midnight my time. Could you not have done it a little bit earlier?
Well, Steve, you don't show up half the time, so I wasn't doing it based on your availability.
Well, I don't come in an awful lot because there's very few people about when I am around, bearing in mind you're 5 hours behind me.
Well,
So
what was interesting
like midnight,
was the reason I did that, and I posted it on
G+.
Where did I post it? I put Facebook, Twitter, and in a Google Plus is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And even had the email addresses of 4 people who said they wanted me to do it. Would I email them if I did it? And I kept those email addresses and sent emails to all 4 of those people. Not one of them showed up. But
I thought it was fun.
It was, but it worked out really well. Amnon was there. I sent it to Nick and Amnon because we hang out from time to time anyway. And but David Stemper joined us from Tennessee, and David is really into the video sorts of things and not real sharp on the audio. Sorry about that, David. And but also we had a new guy join us from down around Texas way, and he's actually a computer IT guy involved in security. So, and both had audio questions, so it actually worked out well. But I was surprised at how people really wanted it and let me know, and then don't bother to show up. So we kind of expected.
I thought it was good. I
it was good. It was very good, Mike.
Yeah,
it is. It's very infuriating when you do that because you think, well, I'm putting myself out to the trouble that people said they wanted it, so you do it, and then no one turns up. It's like your faith in humanity gets a bit of a knock.
Well, I mean, it wasn't infuriating because I've learned not to have very high expectations. People mean well, but life gets in the way.
Yep.
And again, I've already gotten a message from one of the invitees this morning wanting to know what my availability is today.
Oh, my God. Tell him none.
On a Sunday.
Freaking did one.
Well.
Tell him, look forward to the next hangout.
Yeah.
I'll...
No, I mean, it makes a lot more sense, Mike, because you are answering a question that 10 people can learn from versus answering that question 10 times.
Point made, Nick.
Yep.
It's too bad you guys can't hear what goes on behind the scenes. Sorry. But I'll do them. I don't mind. I mean, I'm glad to try to help any way I can.
Mike, I think you should do like a monthly hangout thing.
Well, I may do a weekly hangout thing.
Yeah, weekly.
I would say weekly.
Yeah, but you get into the point weekly where people aren't going to be around, and then you're going to end up sitting in there alone.
I don't. Look, I'm sitting here. Look,
not every week.
If I'm sitting here doing other things, and all I do is leave the hangout open, and it dings me when somebody joins, what do I care if nobody shows up?
Yeah, but you want to make it an event that people want to go to.
Yeah,
and
that's
if you
true.
If you do it monthly, people are going to say, you know what, I'm not doing anything tonight. Mike is doing this hangout, and I really need to stop by because I need help with this.
But you know what I don't want? I mean, this is a good conversation. I'm glad you guys said this because you know what I don't want? And with all due respect to present company, I don't want any more firm commitments for my time. I mean, I'm committed 9 o'clock on Sunday, 8 o'clock on Saturday. I don't really want any more commitments.
Then do them whenever the hell you want to.
Yeah.
Mike, let me ask you this. What do you normally do after Rick's show?
I actually tune in to Dave Jackson's podcast also on Mixlr and Spreaker.
For how long?
And I actually enjoy it. Nick didn't care for it too much, but I actually enjoy participating in that.
For how long?
He does it for an hour.
So can you see and what do you do after that? I mean, on normally, if you can answer that. I mean, what I'm driving at is, why can't you just do the hangout right after? You're already sitting there.
Amnon, it's a good and a fair question. And you know what the answer to that is?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe, see you, Doug. What's interesting is when I get done, I don't know how you guys are, but when I get done with Computers 2K Now, I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
I'm not.
We don't do anything.
That is a fact, actually. Thank you.
Fact.
All right, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
But I mean, seriously, I mean, when you try to keep things rolling and depending on how the show goes, I mean, if we've got a lot of participation and people bring up things, it's a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
Than if you try to keep pushing the show, making sure the pace stays there and we don't end up with a lot of dead air and so forth. And it takes some thought process to do that, as well as to answer things. And I get private messages and all that during the show, and I try to respond to those as well. So, I mean, when I get done, I've had a pretty eventful 3 hours usually by the time we get to the end of it. But that's fine. That's what we're here for.
Well, the only reason I was saying this is because it may get you more people from the other side.
Yeah, but see, I don't.
So I'm just saying, and I think that a weekly or even a bi-weekly. I mean, a lot of people want to have answers and they can't wait a month. Then here you are.
True. Well, they're not shy about asking me.
So it'll be nice, and people will learn. Okay, well, Mike is doing this, and the word will get out, and more people will start showing up.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting part, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way because I don't intend it in a negative way.
Yeah.
I don't care if nobody shows up. I'm not trying to build a show with viewership and participation. I am making whatever little bit of expertise I have available to people. Right. If they want it, come get it. If they don't want it, I'd rather be watching Breaking Bad on TV.
Yeah, and the whole point of doing a hangout versus people just like what you just said. What's your availability today? Well, I'm sorry, I'm not available. I have a family to take care of.
Oh, I know. Well,
it's no. I mean, I know that you're not going to say that.
I'm not shy about not being available.
But the thing is, here is these in, I would say, 99% of the cases, the questions that people have for you can help many other people that are probably calling during the week or getting in touch with you during the week and say, how do you do that? Well, I answered it in the hangout last Saturday, or I answered it, But
see, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but here's part of the thing that has been interesting. In that, when I scheduled this hangout yesterday, I intentionally made sure that it was not a hangout on air.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because a buddy of mine said this about 10 years ago, and I've thought about it 1,000 times. He said, have you ever thought about how much time and energy we spend to not look stupid? And people are self-conscious about asking what they perceive as stupid questions. They don't like to do it publicly and announce it to the world, when in fact, almost all the questions I get are in fact not stupid questions. They relate to an area where someone has no particular expertise.
Right.
I mean, you want to hear stupid questions? Let's start talking about video. I mean, I can make myself look like a bumbling idiot in very short order.
What do you mean make yourself sound like?
You better watch your mouth, Amnon. I can't hang up. I don't apologize for that. That's You know what? If I made up my mind, I could be the best video guy in the room.
I mean,
because anybody here who made up their minds to do that could do that by spending enough time and mastering it. I mean, most of us get to the point that we learn something, whether it's video, whether it's woodworking, whether it's car repair. We learn it to do what we want to be able to do. We don't necessarily take it to the nth degree and to learn every nuance about it that has no practical application. So anyone who wanted to go to that extent could do so. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. So I could learn video. It's not that I'm not smart enough. It's just not within my experience level. And audio is. I mean, I've done the audio stuff to the point that I mean, I say that if the definition of an expert is something you've done for 10,000 hours, then I'm an expert. I'm a long way from being an expert in video.
Well, that's fine. And here, I'm doing everything over here that I can with video and all that. And I had 2 occasions this week talking with Nick, and I felt stupid. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, basic things, because it's not something that I'm really into. I mean, I'm not trying to become a video specialist. I'm using the video, you know. I'm using the pair of pliers and the hammer. I'm not pretending to know how they are made, and if you all the little details. Nick, on the other hand, knows these things. He's into it. He's good at it. And I said something, and he said, that's not going to work. This is not how video works. And I said, why? And he said, just try it. And sure enough.
Why?
Why?
Sure enough, it didn't work.
In all sincerity, I had a call this week where I helped a person, and I'm being very kind, because if he hears me say this, I don't want him to take it the wrong way, because I'm not being insulting or unkind in any way. But let's just say that he did not understand the issue at hand. Mm-hmm. And if I had recorded that call and were able to play it back, people would say, okay, I don't feel stupid anymore. Now, as I say that, I'm not calling this guy stupid. He is not stupid. He is very, very smart. But his smarts are not in audio. Mm-hmm. Big deal. That's the way he didn't need to be embarrassed in front of me. I really don't understand. Okay, that's fine. You don't understand that stuff. That's why we're talking about it. So anyway, but it was probably one of the worst calls I've ever had to do.
Well, I mean, look, everybody. I mean, Mike is talking about that. If it wasn't for Mike, this whole show will not sound like it is. So yeah, I've got a big mixer here, and I've got cameras and all this. But when I want to do anything different with the mixer, I have to call Mike.
And what do I tell you?
What do you tell me?
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. No. I'm saying if I want to add something.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, because to tell you the truth, and I don't care if it comes across as stupid, I don't know how that mixer works. I don't. I never really got into it to try and figure it out.
Were you saying something, Nick? Who was saying something?
Oh, I was just going to say that's exactly what you were going to tell Amnon. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best thing.
Absolutely, and I agree, because I do leave it alone.
I think every single person on the planet has got some specific niche that they're really good at.
Right.
And, you know, it's going to vary from person to person.
Yep. So
May not be important to everybody, but to them, you know, they took the time and effort to learn it really well, and that's great.
So if anybody out there, I mean, if you're doing a podcast about whatever other than audio, if you're doing a podcast about audio, then you better know your stuff. But if you're doing any kind of other subject podcast and you're asking, there is no stupid questions that you can ask Mike.
I'm an audio expert. Right, Mike?
Right.
I do a podcast about it.
There are no stupid questions.
Apprentice.
You know the old saying, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Yeah, well,
that show I used to do, well, it wasn't a show, that call I used to do on TalkShoe predominantly was just sitting there for about 16 hours a day, waiting for people to come in. And if no one was coming in asking for help or asking, oh, how'd you do this or how'd you do that, or I couldn't get this to work, we just sit and shoot the breeze. And there's not enough of that online to have somebody that is doesn't just say yes and no, somebody that doesn't mind having a bit of a conversation and can vary the topic all over the place. That's what online needs more of. It doesn't need specific things that can only discuss those particular topics. You know, sometimes it's nice just to have a bit of a chin wag.
Chin wag.
So really, I mean, if Mike, if you're going to do a regularly scheduled hangout, and people are not coming because they don't want to ask questions that may sound stupid in their mind, then that's just too bad and too sad.
They don't want the answer badly enough, do they?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong in saying...
Hey, look,
especially when you're saying no question's a stupid
question.
Steve. If they feel it's stupid, then that's their problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
Mike, go ahead.
Some of them really are stupid, but you have to put them in perspective. I mean, again, I promise you I can make myself look like a blithering idiot when you start asking me some video questions. I mean, I know where my weaknesses are, and that's fine. Because I'm probably in the next year going to start tackling those. And when it happens, I'll be able to hold my own with you guys and understand what you're talking about. Right now, you can leave me in the dirt in about 15 seconds.
I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. There shouldn't be anything wrong. A lot of people don't, I mean, they feel like they become vulnerable if they say it. If you don't know something, say, I don't know, and let those that know help you. And there are people out there like Mike who want and do help people that don't know.
All right. That being said, I may do another hangout later today. And if you're not following me on Twitter, then you won't know about it. Well, if you're in the Podcasting Technology Resource Group on Google+, you will know it there.
Mike,
or if you're in the Internet Broadcasting Group in Facebook, I may put it there. I may not. I almost always do Twitter. MC Phillips on Twitter. MCPHILLIPS
there you go.
On Twitter. If you follow me there, then you'll know about it.
I still don't figure out how Twitter works because I'm pretty sure I follow you on Twitter, but I don't know. Don't you have to be on Twitter in order to see that somebody's tweeted something? Because I don't get any messages from Twitter to say, oh, so-and-so that's on your follow list has tweeted something.
I think you have to turn on.
Yeah, you have to be on Twitter.com to see it.
Well, I don't
do that. See, I don't do social media.
Yeah, well, there won't be a notification because it's not going to be specifically towards you.
But if you're not logged in at the time, when you log in, it will show you the prior notifications.
Yeah, I do that about once every 6 months.
Well, I can't help you.
No, okay. Well, I don't know where the last one came from. I think it may have come from Facebook, IAIB, possibly. But I don't know. I generally don't do the social media. This is why I don't ever hear of any of these things going on.
That's a good point. How does somebody who is not normally on Twitter and you don't log in there because you're not on it all the time, how do they know when something comes up? I mean, how can you...
They have to log on. You have to adapt. I mean, if Mike's hosting a hangout, he's going to put it on Twitter. If you don't want to go on Twitter, then you can't participate.
Like he said, he may put it on Twitter, or he may put it on Facebook, or he may put it on this other one.
No, he puts it everywhere.
You'd have to be logged into 6 different things in order possibly that he may put it on
Last
one.
night he put it on Facebook, he put it on Twitter, and he put it on Google+. So if you were logged into any of those, you would have seen it.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, you are logged in all the time to these. I'm not. I didn't know it until I read it in his direct message to me.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, if you don't want to,
I'm just saying that but I know that there are ways, like from Google Plus, to get a notification when somebody is saying I'm going to do something, or you can.
Well, yeah, you'd get a notification every time you posted something.
Yeah, that's the downside of it. That you will, and if it's a busy circle, then yeah.
Yeah.
That's a that can be a very nice subject for a hangout all by itself. How to take advantage of all these and how to use it the right way without being hooked to it all the time, Nick.
You don't have to be hooked to it all the time.
Yeah, but signing in once every 6 months doesn't work either, does it?
No, I mean I think if somebody honestly wanted to take advantage of what Mike's offering, they would stay signed in.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, Mike is not going to send a message to 15 different people to say, "Hey,
Right.
I'm doing this hangout now." I mean, that's just like he said. He just wants to
What
put it up and see what's going on.
Yeah, what we can do, and when Mike comes back, I mean, we can set up a announce only list that people can sign up for, and then Mike can send one email to the list, and it'll go to all these people. An email will go to these people.
That's how it used to work on TalkShoe, which did work very well, providing you sent the email out to say that I've scheduled a call, or I'm going to schedule a call, and anyone that is interested to follow. It worked extremely well, but not all the hosts used to do it. I always do, because it lets people know that I want to have a chat with you. Spencer, morning.
Hey, Spence.
Morning. As soon as he feeds the reindeer, he's going to join in, folks.
Bruce from New York. There is Spencer.
There, see, patience is a virtue. You were very patient, and it worked.
Oh, Bruce.
Moose sausage.
Oh yeah, I've had deer sausage. I've gone hunting and taken the deer to a meat cutter and run it through the grinder, put a little pork fat in there. Oh, it's great. I can only imagine moose sausage.
What? Bruce, where are you?
He's at a party, isn't he?
I'm in the green room.
And everybody around you is talking loud? Is that what we're hearing? Or are you listening to a video somewhere?
Well, I'm muted, but there's about 20 people in here.
Okay, because every time you talk, we can hear women talking in the background.
I'm not going to make any comment on that.
Oh, well, I mean, no, it's about, I guess.
I'll get slapped again otherwise.
No. That's okay.
I don't want to make a derogatory comment. After all, they did vote for equality, didn't they?
Anybody using Western Digital MyCloud?
Not me.
I don't know if it came back up, but it has been down for 5 days and counting as of April 1st.
What, from a big supplier like Western Digital? Wow.
Yep. That's very interesting.
That's a heck of a long. 5 hours would have been way, way too long. But 5 days. Good
5
grief.
days.
Wow.
And I did
Did
not
they
read.
come back with a reason?
I did not read anything else about it. Tried to find out. Didn't see anything. I really thought it was a April Fool's story, but it's not.
Wow. It's the sort of thing you would think would be an April Fool's joke. Did you see any particularly good April Fools this year?
Nah.
No, I didn't see any brilliant ones. There was a few funnies, but nothing that was like fall off your chair laughing.
Yep, didn't see. Only thing that I wished was that healthcare reform. But turned out it's a real thing. Let's listen to this. Google has scored a major win on the back of Microsoft Windows XP support cutoff. The London Borough of Barking and Dagenham has begun moving all its employees over to Samsung Chromebooks and Chrome boxes ahead of the April 8th deadline. The council was previously running 3,500 Windows XP desktops and 800 XP laptops, and is currently in the process of retiring these in favor of around 2,000 Chromebooks and 300 Chrome boxes. It estimates the saving at around £400,000 sterling compared to upgrading to newer Windows machines. No small change.
Yeah, Microsoft comment on this was, ouch.
I mean, this is how, little by little, they carve at Microsoft.
Mm.
And somebody at Microsoft needs to wake up.
It's getting to the point. Did I read somewhere, I think it was last week, that Microsoft have released the source code for DOS and the source code for Microsoft Word?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a story about
somewhere.
that.
Yeah, I thought I read it somewhere. Which is a shock.
More than,
it's what?
Yeah, more than Google carving out something from Microsoft. It's Microsoft doing what they do best, and that is staying behind the 8-ball.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody needs to wake up.
They're sitting on their laurels waiting to see what's going on and then thinking, oh, yeah, we could have a bit of this, but it's 6 months too late.
And now you can put Windows on any device for free that's smaller than 9 inches screen size.
Yeah, but like Nick said, you cannot take a desktop and put a 5-inch monitor on it and think that you can put free Windows on it.
Yes, that was the first thing I thought of when Amnon said that. Was like, Amnon is now going to put 8-inch monitors on his machines and say, oh, look at me, free copy of Windows.
And Spence says that Microsoft will wake up after they had both their kidneys removed. Oh, boy.
Just to say farewell, probably. And then, mind you, they go from one extreme to the other, don't they? Normally they're behind the sitting on their laurels, or they're trying to push the boat so hard that it just annoys the crap out of everybody, like Windows 8, for instance.
Touché.
Can't catch a break, can they?
Yeah. Look how, again, the Europeans are ahead of us. The European Parliament has voted to accept the Telecommunications Reform Bill. This bill simultaneously forbids mobile providers from charging roaming costs as of December 15, 2015, and guarantees net neutrality. Previous versions of the bill contained a much weaker definition of net neutrality, offering exemptions for specialized services, but this was superseded in an amendment originally submitted by Dutch MEP somebody Shaki, liberal fraction. And it says, no, the legislation is not yet definitive, but the Council of Ministers still has the deciding vote, but they're expected to follow the EP vote. This is interesting. I mean, look, without much fanfare. Okay, we're going for net neutrality.
It's a good thing, and that they've also brought out legislation, or they're going to be bringing out legislation that says that you can't put tiers on the internet. You can't start charging more for a slightly better service.
Right.
From certain providers, it can only be a standard service right across the board, and that is brilliant.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they're ahead of us.
Mm. And the roaming charges, I mean, if you take into account the size of Europe in comparison to the size of all the states in America, imagine if America was like that, where you would have roaming charges from the north to the south or east to the west or whatever, Mountain Time and Pacific Time and all the rest. If you had roaming charges between those different states, it would be a nightmare.
Let me see what happens here if I try to add Spence. It's going to go a little bit crazy.
A little bit haywire.
Yeah, I know, because I have to completely change it. Hey, Spence.
Hey, good morning. It didn't crash the video, huh?
I don't see you. If you're not going to send video,
I'm trying to.
Oh.
Well, I guess this is the Mac issue again, huh?
You must be doing something wrong.
There's no such thing as a Mac issue.
The client for Mac for Skype didn't support group video, and I guess it still doesn't.
No, it definitely supports.
Macs don't even use software; they just work.
They don't use software, Mike?
Yeah.
I am sending video.
Try hanging up and recalling it. We don't see it.
No, I think it's an issue with the Mac client. We've run into that before, as I recall.
Yeah, it says you're using video because one or more of the people on this call it says it's working from this end. But what do you see from me?
Just your avatar?
Just your, yeah.
Oh. Okay. All right, well, I'll call back in from the voice side.
I mean, you can stay like this.
Yeah, you're already
It's
here
fine.
now. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. As long as I'm not taking up space.
You'd never
how's
take up
Alaska?
space, Spence.
It's still cold.
Oh no.
Not that.
Cold as in?
18 degrees in the morning, 16 degrees in the morning, but it has been warming up into the 40s during the day.
Oh, that's nice.
So I've noticed the visible difference in the amount of snow. The roads are not all clear. Side roads still have snow and ice on them, but the main roads are all clear. And they're actually starting to remove the gravel that they put down. It's so cold here, salt does not work on the road, so they don't use salt, they use gravel. And you can imagine that with the wintertime, that builds up quite a bit, so there's gravel everywhere. And we'll clean it. It takes till June to clean up all the gravel.
I imagine the height of everyone's garden goes up a bit, doesn't it? Mind you, they wouldn't have gardens, would they? They would just have big piles of snow.
It happens, spring happens so fast here because we're already over 14 hours of light per day.
Wow.
And it's going to go up to where there'll only be 2.5 to 3 hours of twilight. It will only actually, the sun actually just goes below the horizon. It doesn't actually go down. So the thing to do is to buy blackout curtains, which I did. I bought curtains for the bedroom that are room darkening because it's just, especially people coming who are not used to this, trying to sleep with bright sunlight. Kind of tough. Last night the sun was up until probably 9 o'clock, a little later.
Damn.
So yeah, it happens pretty quick. The last time I was here, it was just for a few days in Fairbanks back in 2007. Spring hit overnight. It was like it just suddenly everything started to grow, and you'd go out in the morning and you'd see a plant would have grown 2 inches. It was crazy.
Why?
But they have a very, very, very intense but very fast growing season here.
So you bought an HP printer at the thrift store. Were you looking for a printer when you went in there, or just saw a good deal and picked one up?
I was looking for a printer, but I didn't expect to find one there. And just people suggested this place that it's a not-for-profit. It's actually it's interesting. It's called Value Village, and they have ones all around, but each location has a specific charity that they support. So I guess I'm not sure what the relationship is, but this supports a local
hey, Spence,
organization
where are you?
Disabled. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where are you?
I'm in the apartment.
By the window? I mean, it sounded like suddenly like there was wind over your microphone.
No, I'm using the.
Okay, never mind.
Picking up a draft from somewhere.
That could have been me. I'm outside.
Oh.
I don't hear anything here.
I'll pay attention. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay. But yeah, Bruce, I was just walking around and I picked up appliances, which I wasn't really looking for, but I was Pam. My wife Pam mentioned that, if there's no blender, see if you can find a blender, because she makes health shakes. And so I found a blender, then I found a toaster, then I found there are clocks in the apartment, but there was no alarm clock. And I was using my phone to wake up, which is not a problem, but I picked up an alarm clock, and then I saw the printer, and they had power that you could test things with. So I took it over to the power and I plugged it in, and I looked up on my phone how to do test mode, and I printed test page, color in black and white. So I said, this works. It's an older HP printer, but it works. So I don't need it often, but I did need it the other day to print my insurance cards, for example. I got insurance for the car, and I had no way to print it, so I had to print it at work. But I had to actually sit down at someone's desk and ask them if I could use their PC, which was awkward. But other than that, it's... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
All in all, you are adapting and getting used to what's going on there.
Oh, yeah. The training schedule is, we have a couple of days a week of classroom, and then the rest of the time is driving. So they have us meeting up with an instructor. It's a one-on-one deal, and you sit down and you go through your logbook. If anybody's familiar with a commercial driver's license, you have to keep a logbook. And it's not just when you drive, it's every hour of every day, including days off. It's a requirement by the federal government. And so you have a logbook and you chart whether you're on duty, off duty, or driving. So we sit down and we go through the logbook, and we go through a pre-trip inspection, which is a CDL requirement for a commercial vehicle. And then the instructor drives us over to a parking lot of a closed Kmart in town where they have a training course set up with cones. And we've been practicing maneuvers and backing and things like that. So you can imagine how hard it would be at first and intimidating when you walk out to a 40-foot coach and you say, okay, you're gonna back it into that spot. Oh boy. So, but after doing it a couple of times, you go, hey, it's not that hard, and you learn to rely on your mirrors, because there is no rear view mirror in a coach. It doesn't exist. It's only side view mirrors, and you have to back it in and learn how to parallel park, both right and left. And they have something called a slalom course, where you actually have to weave your way between cones without knocking them over. So I think this week I'll be actually out on the road. So after the training period is over and I have to go for a road test and an exam, I'll have my CDL, and then from then it's to start training to do the routes and the talks that will go along with each route. So far it's been good. The schedule has been flexible, where you might drive for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. But we do work 6 days a week.
It doesn't sound like you're going to have much time for boredom, which is good.
Not yet, anyway.
So
today's my day off. It will change as the schedule gets posted. There'll be times when I'll work locally, and as you get more experience, I'll send you out on longer and longer trips, and then overnights, where you might take a coach load of people down to Anchorage, which is over 300 miles away, and you'll take them down there, and you'll stay overnight and bring another group back.
It's not the sort of job you would want if you didn't enjoy driving.
Yes, and that's it. I love to drive, and I love just learning to drive the coach is it's fascinating to me. I just enjoy it so much. And
it does sound interesting. I used to enjoy driving, and I did several jobs where most of the work I was doing was driving here, there, and everywhere, and it was great. But as time has gone on and the traffic's become more and more, and people have become more and more selfish, it's not as enjoyable anymore unless you get out of the town.
My friend Bruce from New York is asking me in the chat window, do they have rear-facing cameras on the bus? They do not. And I don't know that I would imagine if it was feasible, they would be doing it already. You rely only on your side mirrors, and they have the concave mirrors as well as flat mirrors one on each side of the bus. And if I keep saying that, I'm going to get smacked. Because a coach is not a bus. It's very, very distinct difference. A coach has 2 rear axles and has luggage below the passengers, whereas a bus has 1 rear axle and no luggage. But,
so you cannot see who's behind you.
The correct procedure for backing a coach is to have somebody back there helping you.
Oh.
So
there is a rear. So there is a rear-facing camera.
Yeah, it's a human camera.
Yeah.
Yep, and they're giving you a hand signal. But the most important thing they teach you, and even when you're taking your road test and you're doing these maneuvers, you're allowed for each maneuver to get out twice and to correct twice. So if you're backing and you feel like you're off course, you can pull forward 2 times to correct, and there's no points off. So it's part of the job. It's part of the action you take to get out and look. So you get two chances to stop and get out and look. So, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take any points off.
Yeah, it's better safe than sorry.
Does a coach have backup beepers when you're backing up?
Yes, it does by law. Yep. So a whole lot of beeping going on, and you've got four coaches out there on the practice course, and everybody's backing. A lot of beeping. It sounds like if you've ever been to a freight yard or one of these a place where they unload cargo off a boat where they have all these trucks driving around with, it's just constant backup alarms. But yeah, they do. And the coaches that we drive are either 40 or 45 feet long. I drove the 45-footer this week once. And you would think that the big problem with that would be the turning radius is the same. It's the same wheelbase, but it's 5 feet longer in the back. And turning, you don't have to worry too much about the side of the coach, because if you are paying attention to what they call your pivot point, when you start to turn, when you turn the wheel, they say that theoretically you're driving the back of the coach, not the front. You just the back wheels, where they go, is the most important part of the relationship you have with the turn. But you have to think about, well, if I make the turn and I'm too close to, say, my left side when I make a right turn, the back of the bus could swing into the other lane and hit a car or hit a pole or hit a person. So that's what you have to watch out for. You can imagine a car, it only has maybe a few feet behind the wheels. Coach has, 12 feet behind the wheels. 15 feet.
Well, you drove the Deuce here a lot, and that
helped. That helped.
And this is only twice as long. That's all.
But the understanding how you have to encroach on the other lane at times to make your turn, and understanding the relationship that you're sitting in front of the wheels, which is a real weird experience at first, because you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit that. And you get out and look to see how far you are from the cone, and it's 4 feet. And so, wait, I was going to hit it, and you can't see anything. But you miss it, and you learn, and you start to get used to what kind of clearance you need.
All right.
But yeah,
so
it's kind of like driving a boat.
That was our driving a coach segment. Now, do we have specials?
Yes. If I take a break for a little while, I only got up about 20 minutes ago, 15, 25 minutes ago, so I haven't had a chance to yet.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right.
I will look in the background, see if I can come up with a short list.
That's interesting, though, that your video is not coming through.
Well, and this is the latest version of Skype. This is the latest version of Mac, OS 10. So I can only think that it's a vengeance weapon used against Apple by
And
Microsoft.
is it? Wait a second. Is it right now? You're supposedly sending video.
Yep, I can see. I look at the call window in Skype.
Wait, I mean,
and I see.
Go ahead and stop it and start it again.
He's not even spinning Amnon.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I just turned it off.
It's not doing anything.
I see no indication at all that he is sending video.
Yep, it does not.
But when I called in, I got a pop-up message saying you are participating in a group video because you are in a video call because the other people on this call are using video.
There you go.
Nice.
Wait a second. Now you did something.
Just changed.
I just turned it off and back on.
There
again.
you are.
There you go.
Oh. Well, how do you like that?
I was praying for him.
Thank you, Bruce.
And now I have the current.
I saw one of these.
Now I have a current call window that I didn't have before.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So if you beat it senseless, it'll finally work.
I knew you were doing something wrong.
That's it. It's all procedure. Oh, good. Well, I'm sorry my video is not great. I don't have any accessory lighting here. I had the overhead lights on before, and I looked dead because my eyes were just black.
You're actually frozen, though.
Not here.
I'm frozen?
Not here.
Well, here he is.
You have that issue every week, though.
Give it a minute, Amnon, see if it clears up.
No.
It's me. It's not the computer.
No, you're frozen. You're not frozen here.
It looks like I may need to have to pedal a little bit faster in the UK because it's not showing him at all here.
Well, no, but see, we're in the group call with him, and Nick and I are in the group call with Amnon and Spencer.
What are you doing, Amnon?
Oh, got you. Okay.
You would not be able to see him because you're on Computers 2K Voice. We're on Computers 2K Now.
Gotcha.
Kill the video and start it again, Spence.
Right.
Yeah,
I got rid of my ground loop on my PC connected to my TV monitor.
Fact.
Did you attach a big 3-inch thick cable?
No, what I did was, I mean, it was really simple to troubleshoot and fix because I knew what the problem was. My area where I had the TV and the amplifiers and all that, I had 2 power strips. This room was actually wired with 2 separate audio feeds. Every other outlet goes to a separate breaker. Have 2 breakers that feed the room, and every other one, it's a long story, but the point was that one's in one line, one was in the other. When I went back to everything in the same power strip, the video ground loop, actually it's not an audio ground loop, it was a video ground loop, it went away. And now I'm watching the show on the 42-inch or whatever size TV is this I bought, that I'm watching it now through a PC and HDMI.
Amnon, you have to capture Spencer. Nobody can see him.
I know. I didn't want to do it before it was actual video.
Do you have his video now?
Oops. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody was confusing.
There he goes. We caught him getting up leaving.
And he walks off.
Yeah.
Everybody's going, I want to see Spence.
I'm just going to look for my pad so I can start to check out specials here.
It looks all right. I'm wondering if it'll freeze again.
I really have good bandwidth here, though. I know it could be the connection from Fairbanks South, but the bandwidth in the apartment is I'm getting 13 to 15 down and variable up to 2 up.
Are you guys seeing Spence?
Yes.
Well, so it's frozen again.
He's frozen again because you don't have him on the stream.
Right.
What version of Skype are you running, Amnon?
I really need to go back.
No, I think you need to go forward.
No.
Yeah. I'm on 6.14.64.104.
How do you check that?
Let's
No, I
see.
got it. I'm on. What did you say you're on? You're on 16.14.04.104?
No, 6.14.64.104.
I'm on
Oh,
6.
I'm behind you, but still.
I'm on 6.14.60.104.
I'm ahead of you. I'm on 6.15.330.
Wow. Oh, but it's a Mac, so.
I'm still on version 5.10.
Oh, so then Amnon shouldn't be having an issue. He's on 6.14.
Well, he's on 60.104.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm on 64.104, and I'm confident the only difference between those two is a bug fix.
Well, I'm on 6.14.0.104.
That was actually a very stable release.
That's why I'm on it.
But I'm on 64.104, and as far as I know, so
Spence,
far it has been fine.
Go ahead and kill the video and start it again. I don't know if this is because you. I don't know. I don't know why you will do it after.
It's definitely something on your end because we can see him fine.
We just all need to get Max.
I understand.
I don't know what could be causing that. That's a weird thing to.
Okay, so now it's still okay.
His stream is getting frozen.
It's still okay.
It's looking okay here in the UK now.
Fiber coming from Fairbanks is getting iced up.
So do you get the N&O up there, Spence? Home delivery?
No, but I really interesting, Mike. I can watch, in the morning, I watch WRAL News at noon.
Why?
But just because that's the only thing I can watch. I have the Simple TV set up, and it's on a tuner back at my house in Apex that's running off an antenna, so it's very limited as to what I can get to. But Amnon had occurred to me this week to say, hey, I really should have installed the Simple TV at somebody's house that had cable. And just left it there because then I could access all the cable channels.
Well, I wouldn't lament over it too much because there's really nothing worth watching.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I do miss watching Fox Business. A couple of shows there. I like Neil Cavuto. I like to watch that show.
You can't get those on Roku or on your computer?
You can get it, but it's segmented. It's not live. You can watch a program, which is fine. I can watch a show, but it's I kind of like to watch it live. But
my Slingbox is not at my house.
I'm 4 hours behind here, so I would have to record it. But I did do that, and I need to get a cable so I can. I'll wait till Pam gets here because she's bringing her PC with me. I'm not going to buy a Mac.
Is Nick frozen?
Not here.
No, he's not. I see him. Okay.
Amnon, you're having some. You should restart Skype.
You're frozen.
Yeah, you need to restart Skype, Amnon.
I don't know. I can't do that.
Can't do it during the show.
Bruce, you were very quiet when you said something.
It'll mess everything up.
Catch it.
Oh, I was just saying, when he was talking about setting up a Simple TV at somebody else's house who had cable, my Slingbox is not at my house. My Slingbox is at my sister-in-law's house for that reason.
And what does the Slingbox do for you?
Well, it does, among other things, it does essentially the same thing that the Simple TV does. It allows me to watch all of the cable channels remotely on my phone or using the Sling Player website. I can also control the DVR, set programs to record. If I may have forgotten to set them,
You're fine, Nick.
There's a little time shift also, so I can pause it, and it'll pause up to 30 minutes and buffer, and I can, if I needed to go answer the door, do a quick errand, and come back and pick it up where I left off.
Anyway.
But a Simple TV is a lot less expensive solution than Slingbox.
What did Skype need to learn something? Now everything is fine. It seems like.
It's the people at Microsoft listening in, and they press the
NSA.
No, Microsoft. I guess it's Microsoft. We're trashing them, so they press the problem button, the random problem generator.
RPG.
Here again, the BBC reports that 5-year-old Christopher von Hassel from San Diego has uncovered a frankly embarrassing security flaw within the Xbox One login screen. Nick, did you...
Yeah, I hate the BBC. They know absolutely nothing about the story.
They're government. You can't say that.
Apparently, by entering...
Read that first line. Read that first line again. What was it? A simply stupid?
Frankly embarrassing.
Yeah, well, if they actually did their investigation, they would know that was there for when it was in beta testing so that users didn't have to log in and out of different accounts.
Oh.
But that's not important to the story at all.
Well, they say apparently by entering an incorrect password in the first prompt and then filling the second field with spaces, a user can log in without knowing a password to an account. Young Christopher's dad submitted the flaw to Microsoft, who have patched the flaw. And listen to this. Have generously provided 4 free games.
Wow.
$50, a year-long subscription to Xbox Live, and an entry on their list of security researcher acknowledgments.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. Wow is right. Microsoft.
They should have thrown in a Chromebook as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole use of it was while beta testing, they could sign in. They could. It was like an easier way to get in and out of accounts to test like sign-in stuff. And they just didn't take it out.
So, Nick, what did we learn about that GameSpy? Did you look into it anymore?
I did. I don't know. I really have no clue. I wouldn't worry about it.
Interesting.
Well, actually, no, I did. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't worry, but nobody's using GameSpy anyway, so.
Yeah. Also, there's a new Malwarebytes 2.0, everybody. If you don't go to download it, it will not just upgrade it. It will keep on updating your older version with new signature.
At least for now.
Yeah, but if you go to download, you can download the 2.0, which is completely different.
In what ways?
New interface.
Additional functionality. It's also doing a rootkit scan, which the old one does not do.
Yep.
Amnon, do you have the Amazon Fire TV in your news feed?
Amazon Fire?
Obviously not.
I don't know what you mean.
Pretty big news out of Amazon this week. You didn't hear anything about this?
No. Go ahead.
So Amazon launched a new hardware box called the Amazon Fire TV.
Yeah.
A Roku competitor. It's $100. It's similar size to the Roku. It's a little bit bigger than that. It's got a quad-core processor, a dedicated GPU, 2 gigs of RAM, 8 gigabytes internal storage. It does dual-band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, HDMI, USB, and all that fun stuff.
Dual-band Wi-Fi. That's very good for the price.
Yeah.
That's
and
going to really
plays,
help streaming.
Yeah, and it plays a lot of Android store games because it's running on Android. Yeah, now where do you get your news from?
Mainly from Slashdot because they send it throughout the week, and then
he's got a cardboard box over in the back of the studio where he's reading last year's magazines.
Yeah,
that's yeah. I don't know why the hell they didn't report this. This is huge. This is a huge thing.
No, didn't see that.
It's huge.
It is.
Spence, just so you know, you're frozen again here, but don't worry about it.
It's frozen outside. It's not a problem. I have a big thermometer on the wall of the apartment. The door goes out and there's a stairway going up, and there's a big, it's like a foot across thermometer there, and I can look through the glass in the door in the morning and see what the temperature is in the stairwell. And then there's another one up on the fence outside by the street, and I could see that too. And I could see the difference is like 10 degrees between what's down below and what's up above. So cold definitely sticks to the ground.
You know, Jerry Lee says that the new Malwarebytes looks like a fake AV scam. And sure enough, I agree.
I agree with that.
Yep. When I started it, I said, uh-oh, what did I just do? Because it looks just like. You're right, Jerry.
What if it is a scam?
Well, it's not.
Well.
Oh.
It is an excellent program, and considering it's been free all these years, it's been an amazing resource. It's unfortunate that it's even necessary, but it is.
Chromebook.
Right. And when they get enough of those out, there'll be some viruses for those too.
Of course. There'll be viruses for everything.
Google's offered a lot of money for somebody to do it.
Well, they will. Yeah, by the way, Bruce, your audio is a little bit low. That's probably why you're having trouble getting in sometimes. Because if anybody else is talking, when you start talking, your audio is swamped. So bump it up just a tiny bit.
I'm trying to be discreet.
There you go. No, that's fine. We want you to. We have to compete for the 4 here. So
yell.
That's much better.
Yell.
No, don't yell. Just set the volume correctly, which it appears you have now done.
I don't like shouting.
Then don't do it.
I won't.
Right. So. Jerry says that Malwarebytes has been a great program, and maybe the authors decided to cash in. You've been able to get a real-time version of the program for quite some time, and in fact, I bought 3 licenses to it.
Yeah.
I've only used 1 of them or 2 of them, but so that's been available. And if you're one of these kinds of people who has to click on stuff, then I'd suggest you spend the money and buy it, but do watch for it to go on sale.
I mean, it's still free.
Not the real-time version is not.
No, not the real-time. You're right. It's just like it used to be that you can get a trial.
And in fact, I would recommend that if you download and install Malwarebytes for the first time, when it asks you, do you want a free trial, say no.
Absolutely.
Because then you have to go through and change some of the configurations. What you should do is say, no, I don't want to do that. Then it will just install the simple run it as you want it program.
Yeah, and make sure you don't download it at CNET using their CNET downloader, because they will try to put on a new search engine for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a public service.
Right.
Right.
Hey, I like FileHippo as a place to go to get new things and new updates for like CC Cleaner and Malwarebytes and stuff like that.
C Cleaner. Why do people say CC Cleaner?
It's because it starts with CC. But the C Cleaner, you can download that directly from, what is it, Piriform?
Yeah, Piriform.
Piriform.com, isn't it?
I think that's right.
Yeah, Piriform. Piriform.
Yep. Yeah, FileHippo will also let you know if there's updated versions to some of the more popular programs. So, have you ever looked at FileHippo.com?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they appear to be a
I've
real
seen
good
it
site.
around.
Amnon
advertised
loves
in places.
CC Cleaner, right, Amnon?
Okay,
Can't
Nick.
get enough of it.
Talking about sites, if you're into the Windows thing and you deal with viruses and malware and things of that nature, I once again will renew my recommendation that you go spend some time over at bleepingcomputer.com. It is without question the best Windows site for dealing with viruses and malware if you have to deal with that crap like with family members. I've never had one. But
all right, let's see. Nick, move. You frozen again. Spence.
Yes,
Spence,
sir.
I'm actually going to drop. Go ahead and disconnect your video. Stop your video.
Okay.
I'm going to take it out because that's what's.
You're going to take me out.
I'm going to
take
your
him
video out because it's not working anyway.
All right.
What, for a meal or just for a drink?
No, it was going to take me out, as in like eliminate.
Shoot you,
as in Breaking Bad.
Elimination.
Mike, don't give any spoilers away.
Don't worry. I'm
Is
not
anybody
sure.
watching House of Cards?
Already
Yes.
finished it.
I have been watching the British version from 1990.
Different.
Oh, it's very different, but it's still fun to watch and see the similarities. And if the executive producer of that show is actually an executive producer for the Netflix version, which I thought was interesting.
The Netflix version is great.
Yeah, it is good. And I actually stopped watching it after the first episode. I was for about 2 weeks. I just said, I got that point where I was so, didn't even know if I wanted to continue to watch it.
Should.
And then I got back into it again. Oh no, I'm 2 episodes away from finishing it, so it's
very good stuff going on there.
Yeah.
You're in the best part of the series, in my opinion.
Yeah, the first half of season 2 is slow, and then it really starts heating up right to the last 3 or 4 episodes are really intense.
In fact, that's what's interesting about this Netflix approach to a series, where you can watch the entire series and all from start to finish because it's all archived there. It's really interesting to see how these series will start out with a bang, then before long they're down to a yawn, and either they get back in gear and bring it back to life, or they end the series.
Yeah, but they have that option.
Yeah.
I like what Netflix is doing. They're doing some good stuff.
Yeah. And if you like House of Cards, you can watch MSNBC's coverage of Congress and see exactly the same thing in real time.
This is one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of those kind of shows, because it just strikes home far too close to the truth, and it just gets me riled, something rotten, so I don't bother.
What was so bizarre about watching House of Cards is that after I finished it, I immediately started reading a book called Extortion, sorry, same thing, by Peter Schweizer. And I really couldn't, it's almost like I was reading a recap of House of Cards. I mean, I'm not joking. It was really bizarre about how the similarities were there, but they added the names.
The names have changed to protect the innocent.
Guilty.
Okay, that as well.
Well. And
I will have in about 5 minutes. Just I can do
that's all right.
Office
That's
Max
fine.
and Staples, so I'm almost done.
It says a newly discovered malware attack uses a smartphone connected to the computer that manages an ATM, and then sends an SMS message to instruct it to dispense cash. Is this what you were talking about before, Steve? About the ATM that was dispensing
not
cash?
Specifically that. No, not that specifically.
The attack was reported.
Wait, can you read that again?
A
The
newly
beginning, that doesn't make any
discovered
sense.
malware attack uses a smartphone connected to the computer that manages an ATM,
Oh, okay.
and then sends an SMS message to instruct it to dispense cash.
Okay.
The attack was reported by Symantec and builds on a previous piece of malware called backdoor.plutus. It is being used in actual attacks, and Symantec has demonstrated with an ATM in its labs, though it is not revealing the brand of the vulnerability machines. Good, at least they're not doing that. Can you imagine, okay, guys, I'm going to go to the ATM on Main Street in about 10 minutes, send a SMS, I'll be there to collect the cash. Nate!
How are you going to? Yeah, but
I don't know.
All those ATMs have cameras on them. You're not going to get away with that.
I don't know.
People try it. That's why they get caught, is because of the cameras.
So I'm confused here. So somebody that's managing the ATM somebody that's managing a computer that manages ATMs would have to have their smartphone plugged in?
I don't know how it works.
Because that company should fire somebody that's plugging their personal smartphone into a system that manages ATMs.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like going to a data center and plugging a USB port into just a random computer. A USB drive.
That is really interesting here that getting a video from Spence that freezes.
Well, I think it's a third person. I think if it had somebody else besides Spencer call in, it would probably do the same thing.
I don't think so. I mean, we've been going on with 4 people forever.
Yeah, I remember 2 weeks ago or something, somebody else called in with video, like halfway through the show, and did the same thing.
I don't remember that, but maybe. Okay, now, this is not coming from no Bruce, because Bruce is not even here.
What's that?
It's coming from Spencer.
It was my phone was ringing, so I got to forget it.
Oh.
Sorry. I had no quick way to mute the...
Hey, Spence.
Yes, sir.
What time does the sun come up?
6:30-ish, I guess, 7 o'clock.
And what time does it go down?
About 9 now. So we're up to about 14 and a half hours. It's 10 minutes a day. It gains 10 minutes a day.
Wow.
In sunlight. Or, I mean, it's gone up. Like when I first got here, it was gaining 6 minutes, and then it's gaining 7 minutes, and it's gaining 8 minutes. So it's accelerating very quickly.
Soon it's going to be ahead of itself.
It will. Soon the sun it won't ever go down. It's weird. Isn't that weird? But I've been watching. There's a great little app on the Roku. That's a weather app that it says free trial, and I've been signed up for the free trial, and it's been running. It's supposed to only go for a month, but it's still working.
Is that the screensaver one?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that too. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's got great weather maps.
Yeah.
Plus, it shows you it shows a straight down North Pole view of the aurora, and it's really amazing. It doesn't, unfortunately, it hasn't come down over Fairbanks recently. Because when I was in the hotel, I actually had a wake up call service that if the aurora appeared, they would call you so you could go out and look at it. But it's great because it shows the shape of it over the North Pole from some type of a satellite. That's how it's up. I guess it must fly over because it can't do geosynchronous over the North Pole.
Yeah, I like that screensaver. I've had it for a while now.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, there goes TalkShoe crashing again.
Well, we've got a couple minutes left. Do you want me to do specials on Office Mac and Staples?
Sure. Yeah, just do what you got.
Yeah, just do it, and that'll be good enough.
Yeah, it won't take but 2 minutes. Staples has an HP Envy 4000 wireless all-in-one printer, compact printer, $79.99. That's 20 off. They've got a 15.6-inch HP AMD A4 touchscreen, and I'm amazed that these prices continue to drop. $379.99, save $150. They've got a clearance on a Lenovo 15.6-inch i5. This is a dual mode touchscreen. This is where you can actually take the touchscreen, flip it around, and fold it back against the keyboard and make it into a functional tablet. $649.99, save $100. Samsung 21.5-inch LED monitor for $119.99. That's 40 off. They've also got an Acer 20-inch LED monitor for $89, save 30. SanDisk Ultra micro USB card, 16 gig for $19.99, save 40. 32 gig for $34.99, save 45. They've got a 16 gig Monster on the Go. This is an interesting device. It is a USB flash drive that's got both USB and micro USB connectors on it. And it says it's used to transfer files back and forth between PCs and smartphones. So if your smartphone has a micro USB slot on it, you can plug this in. It shows up as a file system, put files there, take files off of it. $14.99, save $9. They've got a Toshiba 1 terabyte portable USB drive for $69.99, save $15. And for as much as we talk about Toshiba drives being not as the quality is not being as high as some of the other manufacturers, the last 3 or 4 laptops I've worked on, and there have not been hard drive issues. This has been other issues. Have had Toshiba drives in them. And I was surprised that these are machines that have been running for 3 or 4 years without any issues. So I guess they've got their reputation, but I've been seeing that they're not as the failure rates are better than what I thought they were. Of course, it's a very limited sample I'm looking at. But, so that's all at Staples. At Office Max, we've got a Dell 15.6-inch i3 touchscreen for $399, save $100. Epson small-in-one printer scanner copier wireless for $69.99, save $30. We've got a Brother MFC 870 DW. This is kind of a mid-range inkjet printer scanner fax copier with two-sided printing, $99.99, save $50. A Dell 23-inch LED monitor for $159.99, save $40. 24-inch monitor for $179.99, save $50. 32 gig flash drive for $17.99, 64 gig for $34.99, 128 gig for $69.99. And finally, we have the Logitech MK520 wireless keyboard and mouse combo. This is one of their higher-end wireless mouse keyboard combos, $39.99, save $20. That's at Office Max. And that's it from the frozen north.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And if you need a new wireless phone setup for your house, they've got VTech 5 extension cordless DEC 6 answering system for $79 at Office Max. It's five physical handsets. 4 of them are chargers, and 1 is the actual answering system base.
90 seconds.
I love that Nick, that link. Who put that link? Jerry. What? About the $99 Windows 7 machine.
Mm-hmm.
40 gig
$99?
40 gig hard drive. It's a refurbished IBM.
It's a P4.
Yeah, P4 3.2 or 3.4. What was it? But it's. I mean, it'll work.
If it has Windows 7 drivers, it'll work.
89. Oh, it's got Windows in there. I mean, Windows 7 Home.
I don't know why somebody would spend $100 on this, though.
Well, it's very interesting. All right.
No, it would run your Ubuntu really well.
Yeah, probably. And it's a nice case. It's like almost like a server case.
Yeah, it's their S50 cases. They were nice cases.
Yeah. Put the monitor right on the computer.
It's a tilt top case too. That's interesting.
Remember those?
Yeah. I remember how innovative they were at the time when you could buy the OEM case to model the IBM XT with a tilt top.
Yep.
And we were technicians, so it was really good because we could just flip it open and doodle around inside and close it again.
Yep.
Very handy.
And I remember having one of them here that I was running the BBS, and one of the other guys who was more technical came with the, I don't know what it, Mike, what do you call the thing that measures RF?
RF measuring thing.
Yeah.
Field intensity meter.
A what?
Field intensity meter you're talking about?
I don't know.
Not
I mean, the thing, the stuff.
Spectrum analyzer.
No, that's not intensity.
The stuff that the case was supposed to protect you from.
Oh, RFI.
Okay, RFI.
Yeah.
And measure.
And Spence is correct. You can use a spectrum analyzer. The proper way to look at that would be a spectrum analyzer, because that would tell you all of the frequencies that are radiating from the unit and at the relative intensity.
Well, this was some handheld device.
Right. Well,
and it measured so much.
Yeah. Then back in the old days, they were $25,000. Now you can get them at Radio Shack.
You tilt the top up, and it went like oodles and oodles of times higher when you open the case.
Jerry makes an interesting comment. He said that Walmart is heavy into refurb Windows 7 machines.
Do they refurb them right in the store?
I doubt it. They get them out of the dumpster.
I'm kidding. That was a dig against Walmart.
No, apparently he says
you go in there and talk to people, and they're like, "We sell phones here."
Yeah. Hope to God they're not refurbing computers. Open it up, there'll be like ice cream and lettuce on the inside of it.
They hose them down in the back, and that's just.
No, he says that he orders it and then it shows up at the local store a day or two later.
Yeah, they
so
do.
They probably either they buy it from somewhere, or maybe they have someplace that they, or they.
Walmart sells some very interesting stuff online, like caskets. You can actually buy a casket.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I hope they have prompt delivery.
Yeah.
You have to order on Amazon Prime for that.
That's right.
And he adds on, Walmart is taking trade in games. Going to kill GameStop.
I don't think they'll kill GameStop. Those people are so incompetent at Walmart. There's not a chance in hell they'll be able to actually give you be able to inspect the game and give you a good value on it. We talked about that I think 2 weeks ago on the show.
Oh, so it's each person will get according to how the game that they're trading in, or is it?
Like when you go to GameStop. Let's see here. So if I went to GameStop and I brought them Halo Reach, I take good care of my games. So as I drop it, I mean,
yeah,
it's the disc is in good condition, right. And the guy at GameStop would inspect the disc. They'd play it and say, all right, hey, there's a few scratches on it. Maybe we'll give you $2 or $3 less, but there's no way, and some cashier at Walmart can do that. No way.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up. We always said in the early days, and I don't remember saying it again, but when you buy a game or you buy a piece of software, make a backup of it to another DVD.
Well, you can't do that with a game.
You cannot? There is no way. I mean, even with certain software that will...
No, if that was the case, then you could just buy a game and burn it to 600 discs and sell it to people.
Oh.
No,
well,
you haven't been able to do that.
The stuff that you can and that you need again. But obviously with a game, you load it once and that's it, right?
No.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
you can burn it to your hard drive.
That was the whole point of making a backup and put it on the shelf. Don't use it again. Use the backup.
Yeah, no, if that was the case, Amnon, then you could.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they would. If they did that, then there would be there'd be no point of selling new games because
What they do is they remove the protection and then they copy them in their thousands.
Yeah, which if it doesn't have protection, it won't play, so it doesn't matter.
No. Everything when I buy a piece of software, I don't buy games, but any of the
software, yeah, you could do.
Yeah, I make a copy of it and put it on the shelf. Like my Windows 7 is on the shelf. I have other DVDs that I made 2 copies of the 64 and the 7, and when I installed it, and I used it. So the original stays new, but obviously, I guess you can't do it with the games. That's interesting. All right.
Yeah,
anyway.
or with like if you went to the store and bought a brand new DVD, you wouldn't be able to do it either because there's protection on them.
Depending which software you use.
Yeah. I mean, sure you could do it, but probably not worth it.
So what happened if you scratch your DVD to the point that it can't read anymore? You have to buy a new one, or will they give you?
No. You can repair them. They sell disc repair. You could do a toothpaste, a banana.
But that's only temporary.
It's only temporary, but at least with Xbox games, you can burn them to the hard drive, and then you still have to put the disc in, and the disc has to be readable to the point that it says, "All right, I'm this game," and then it will pull from the hard drive.
Let's say that somebody stepped on it and completely.
I'd be screwed. I'd have to go buy a new game.
So it's not good enough that you can send. You couldn't send it to the company and say, "Look, I ruined it, but I bought it, so I'd like another copy."
No. I mean, that'd be the same thing with a phone. If you break a phone and have companies not going to give you a new one.
If you returned a damaged disc to the manufacturer, would they sell you a new one for a much cheaper price?
The manufacturer, you can't. I don't think you can return it to the manufacturer.
No, exchange it.
But the manufacturer isn't actually manufacturing the game.
You know what I'm saying, though. Whoever releases it,
I guess you could try, but these game development people suck.
I'll be damned. That sucks.
Well, yeah. So I take good care of your games.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's do it.
Okay. Yep. It's time again. All right, Spence.
Okay.
You can go and enjoy the sun a little bit.
Oh, it's cloudy today. It's supposed to snow tonight.
Oh, boy.
So, but they don't predict a lot of snow, but so it's snow overnight tonight and tomorrow.
Would love to send some of the heat we have here up your way, but
yeah, my toes are cold.
I don't have enough lung capacity.
All
right. Well, Mike, thanks.
Have a good week, everybody.
You too.
You too, Spence.
Nick, thank you.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll speak to you next week.
And I guess Bruce is not here. No, he's not. But Bruce, thank you. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for... good morning to Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in tomorrow at 11 for the Health In Show. At 1 o'clock, it's Breaking Free, and at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's the Tanya Love Show. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. That VidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.